Hello, welcome back to Crypto Tutorial. On today's video, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin and for sure about all other type of cryptocurrencies as well. So for sure, I'm very excited about what is going to happen today, especially because right now, if we take a look at Bitcoin has been performing very well lately. So for sure, very interesting to take a look at. And let's get started. So welcome everyone, and if you haven't seen my previous videos, thank you very much for joining this one, and do not forget to give me a thumbs up down below. And let's get started and take a look at what Bitcoin is currently doing. And if we take a look at this over here, what I'm very happy to see is actually, let's take a look and recap at what we have seen previously. What we saw previously is actually something very interesting. We have already found several times support on top of this orange box, and this latest drop in the price action of Bitcoin also found support inside of the orange box on the 4-hourly time frame. And this is for sure something of utmost importance, because what we're seeing is that this level will be a major level of support and resistance. And if you ask me, I think this might probably also be the ultimate bottom what we are seeing on the Bitcoin price action. So if we see a parabolic run up towards the upside getting started, I personally think that afterwards, if we see a bear market getting started, that we will be heading towards the $30,000 level for sure once again, and that we will get resisted at these levels. So for sure, if we are seeing a trend reversal in the future, once we saw a new all-time high getting created, I personally think that this is a level you have to take into consideration. So the orange box at 30,000, in between 30,000 and $33,000. Also, let's take a look at what happened in the past. So in the past, we have seen Bitcoin trade several times already inside or above the orange box, finding support and getting resistance, and also finding resistance by the $33,500 level over here. And you could see that we had many times we tried to break above this level of resistance before we broke above it, and once we broke above it, we found support right on top of it, and this happened actually many times. So for sure, something very interesting. This is already telling us that this is a major level of support, and it actually, my conclusion is that it served as a level of support for sure, especially right now because we're seeing Bitcoin breaking out with a V-shaped recovery outside of this retest of this major level of support at in between $30,000 and $33,000. So for sure, very interesting to take a look at. And also, let's take a look at some other things. What I wanted to see is actually a few things as well. I wanted to show you the volume on the Bitcoin chart, and let's take a look at what the volume is actually telling us. So we saw during this small uptrend over here, we saw major volume levels to positive and negative volume getting started, and we saw also that this actually confirmed the small uptrend that we saw previously. Afterwards, we saw the major drop towards the downside, and we did not see major volume towards the downside getting started. So for sure, I personally thought that this was not a very significant drop. But right now, what we're seeing is actually that the volume is increasing once again, and we are seeing the price action of Bitcoin going up for sure. Very interesting to take a look what the volume will be doing during the upcoming hours, especially because if the volume does not proceed with a, let's say, positive volume candles, it is very probable that we will see a rejection of Bitcoin when it tries to break above one of these levels of support and resistance, of overhead resistance at, let's say, $39,000, $39,500 at 41,000 and 40 no yes $41,000 and at $42,898. So I'm personally waiting for Bitcoin to break above this level at almost 43k, and I personally think that is very likely to occur, especially because we're seeing this major V-shaped recovery of Bitcoin right over here. And if we enable the EMA ribbon and disable as well the moving average, the volume levels, what we are seeing is actually something very interesting going on. What we're seeing is something so interesting that I'm very pumped to actually take a look at it. We saw this previously as well occurring. Once we broke above the EMA ribbon, unfortunately, we broke down below it. We retested the EMA ribbon once again, and we got rejected once we did so. So we saw afterwards we had a major drop towards the downside when we tried to retest the EMA ribbon for the second time after breaking out before, and we got rejected. And right now we are seeing this major V-shaped recovery, breaking far above the EMA ribbon, and right now currently finding support on top of it. And I think it is very interesting because, especially if you take a look a little bit more closely, you will see that the EMA ribbon will be eventually, the EMA ribbon lines will cross over, and we will see the longs taking over the shorts and upward momentum getting started. And once the chart is able to find support on top of the EMA ribbon, that will be for sure of utmost importance to see the price action of Bitcoin heading even further up. So for sure, very interesting to take a look at what is going on right now on the cryptocurrency space. And if we take a look a little bit further, we could also see several different things going on. So for sure, very interesting what the price action is going to do. And that's also why I would like to enable the moving averages on the daily time frame. So let's take a look on the daily time frame, what the moving averages are saying to us. Well, the moving averages are right over here. They're far above the price action of Bitcoin, and as you can see, the 200-day moving average over here will serve as a major level of resistance when we head towards the $41,000. So at the $41,000 level, it will be a major resistance level, and to break above it, that's for sure something very, very interesting. What I do not like about the price action of Bitcoin at this current moment is actually that we saw right over here on the chart this gap over here getting started, and I personally think that this gap could potentially mean that we will have to fill this gap eventually, because we saw the price action of Bitcoin and the candles actually opening further above the closing price of yesterday's candle. So for sure, I think this is something interesting you have to take a look at. It might be very probable that we would see still on today's candle a minor move towards the downside and closing a little bit lower. So that is a possibility. And also, if we head even further up, we will have to take into consideration that approximately around the 41k, there will be a major level of resistance also due to the moving averages, and for sure the 200-day moving average will serve as a major level also overhead resistance. So that is what I wanted to talk about on the Bitcoin chart and the daily time frame, and I will enable lastly just the MACD to take a look at what is going on over here. And as we saw previously also on yesterday's live stream, we talked about this, we saw that the crossover on the MACD did not occur, and that we are seeing major upward momentum getting started on the Bitcoin compared to the US dollar chart. And I personally think this is something of utmost importance, because if you would like to see even more momentum getting started, the momentum will eventually give Bitcoin enough strength to break above the $41,000 level and also above the 200-day moving average. And why I think this is personally very important is because once we break out above the moving averages on the daily time frame, they will serve as major levels of resistance. And if we take a look a little bit further down, we would see that once we broke below the EMA ribbon, oh, sorry for that, sorry, let's see, once we broke above the EMA ribbon for the very first time, or I'm very sorry, above the moving averages for the very first time over here, unfortunately we do not have enough data to show us the moving averages as they were exactly, but you could see for sure that the moving averages, we were down below the moving averages over here. It's quite unfortunate that the 200-day moving average is not able to be seen over here, but you could see that once we broke above it, we found support on top of it. Once we retested the moving averages for the second time, we saw that major momentum towards the upside getting started, and unfortunately we broke below it once we saw the major flash crash on the Bitcoin price action, and we are currently trading underneath those moving averages. So for sure, very important to take a look what Bitcoin will be doing over here. And let's take a look also at the 4-hourly chart. And enable the RSI. So if we enable the RSI on the 4-hourly chart and we remove the moving averages, we are seeing that Bitcoin right now is currently almost heading towards the dotted upper line on the RSI above the purple area. And once it does so, it is very likely that we will see the price action of Bitcoin head towards the downside, as we saw in the past as well. Once we break above the EMA ribbon over here, we see the price action towards the downside getting started, and that is actually what occurred on the 16th of April as well. We saw the major momentum towards the downside getting started after we broke above the dotted white line of the RSI. So that is something that could occur, but fortunately we are not there yet at this moment in time. So for sure, that is very good to know that we are still able to head a little bit further up before we will get rejected by the RSI or by any of the other indicators. So very good to know. We broke above the EMA ribbon. The volume levels are confirming that this uptrend is real, and if we enable the moving averages on the 4-hourly time frame, what we're seeing over here is that we are getting supported for the very first time by the 50-day moving average. And as well, if we take a closer look, we are right now currently trading inside or above the 100-day moving average, and that is for sure very interesting, because if we take a look at the previous candles, these previous 3 candles were not able to break above the 100-day moving average, and right now this candle of today is breaking above it, and I think that will for sure be very interesting to see if this candle will be able to close on the 4-hourly time frame above the 100-day moving average and maybe break above the, let's take a look what is here, $37,000, $37,875,000, and find support on top of it before trading even further towards the upside. So for sure, very interesting price action on Bitcoin. And what I must say that I forgot to show you on the daily time frame is something very interesting as well, and that is actually the MVT. So the MVT of Bitcoin, let's take a look at this over here. So if you're enjoying the content so far, do not forget to give me a thumbs up, and I will be taking a look at this. And if you would like me to answer any questions, do not forget to place those in the comments as well. I will be happy to do so. And what we're seeing over here is that for the very first time, after we saw it on the MVT, that people were selling their Bitcoin with losses, for the very first time, we actually saw the momentum switch towards the upside slightly, and we for sure it is very possible that we will see once again an indicator that we will head further down and that we will see a trend reversal eventually towards the upside. But currently the MVT is telling us that we could possibly head even further up, or it could be one more time a white market telling us that it is actually once again people are selling their Bitcoin, and that would be possible. For sure, very interesting. What I think is very, very good to know is actually that if we take a look at Glassnode for just 1 second, unfortunately, I did not have Glassnode open. Oh, that's very unfortunate. I should have opened it before. Oh, perfect. So if we take a moment, let's take a look at the short liquidations and what we So unfortunately, I'm not able to look at the short liquidations. That's something I wanted to show you, but I was not well prepared for it. So that is something quite unfortunate. But let's take a look a little bit further at the Bitcoin price action currently. And I would like to look at the Bitcoin price action further during this video on the 1 hour time frame, just to take a look what it possibly could be doing during the upcoming hours. So for sure, this is looking very strong. And lastly, I wanted to enable the EMA ribbon also on the daily time frame to take a look where we will be finding resistance. And right now we are finding resistance exactly underneath the EMA ribbon on the daily time frame, and that is a major level of resistance that we have to break above, because as you saw previously, we haven't tested this level Well, yet we only tested it once, and after that test over here, just a couple of days ago, on the 3rd of June, we were rejected towards the downside, and we went all the way down to retest this level of support at $33,500. So for sure, very interesting if we will be able to get above the EMA ribbon on the daily time frame. But let's take a look at the 1 hourly time frame to make sure we are not, well, not taking everything into consideration. So there we go. What you're seeing over here is something different. On the 1 hourly time frame, Bitcoin already broke above the EMA ribbon. It found support already once over here, and it is heading even further up. It got supported for the second time at this period in time. After it had a retest, it was able to break out towards the upside, and we saw that the EMA ribbon is acting right now as a level of support instead of a level of resistance, as we saw previously, that when we tried to break above it, we got rejected immediately, and this happened several times before we were able to break out above it. And right now, I personally think that we will see just the opposite going on, as we saw previously as well. We will see that the EMA ribbon will serve as a major level of support, and that we will be trading all the way towards the upside. So for sure, very interesting to take a look at the price action of Bitcoin on the 1 hourly time frame. And I would like to take a look at the RSI as well to see if we are seeing any type of bullish or bearish divergence. So over here we have a bullish divergence, so that is very nice and interesting to see. We see over here on the chart we have a higher low getting created. I will be disabling the EMA ribbon so you have a better and clearer look, and at the same period in time on the RSI we see over here a lower low getting created. So for sure, very interesting that we are seeing this major bullish divergence on the RSI over here right now, currently occurring on the Bitcoin price action. So for sure, very interesting to take a look at what this will be doing and how it will be performing in the upcoming hours. I personally think that, especially also because we are getting supported by the EMA ribbon on the 1 hourly time frame, and we are seeing this bullish divergence, we could see a major potential move towards the upside getting created. So let's take a look and measure this move, this potential move towards the upside. So firstly, I would like to place a other trend line. We already spotted the bullish divergence. That is also why I will be disabling these trend lines, and I will be placing a new trend line over here. So let's say we are going all the way up like this. It might be possible that once we break out above this level of resistance where we're currently trading on top, at approximately $37,752, that we will be rejected by the level above us at $39,525, and we will see a second retest of this upward sloping support line. If Bitcoin holds strong and finds support on top of this upward sloping support line, I think it is a confirmation that we will see a major breakout towards the upside occur on the Bitcoin price action. Also, let's take a look at what we could be possibly seeing. Over here, we could be saying we are seeing a broadening wedge getting started, but I won't be confirming this pattern until we see a second test of this upward sloping support line. So for sure, very important to see if Bitcoin will be able to find support on top of this upward sloping support line after breaking out above the $38,152. So for sure, very interesting to take a look at what's going on over here, and for sure the bullish divergence will be very helpful. So let's say we spotted this bullish divergence, and also that this broadening wedge will be breaking out towards the upside in the upcoming hours. Then we would possibly see a major move towards the upside getting started, and that move will be looking something similar to this. I will be measuring it from the beginning of this upward sloping support all the way towards the touch point, the first touch point, of the upward sloping resistance. Why I'm doing this is because I think this is a steady measurement about how the price action could be. Some people would tell you that you have to measure it all the way towards its breakout above the upward sloping resistance line, and I think for sure that is true. But right now, because we do not have a confirmation on the downwards upward sloping support line, I personally think it is better to measure a little bit smaller and not have the exact price action towards the upside, because I think this is just more accurate at this point in time. So let's say we will break out eventually somewhere around here, then Bitcoin could be heading all the way up towards $44,000, and that will be amazing news as this occurs, because then we will be, for the very first time after a long period of time, seeing a major pump of 11% on the Bitcoin chart. But that is not the major issue over here. What we are actually seeing is something way more interesting, and that is that Bitcoin, if it breaks above the 42k, it will be for sure getting supported at this level at $42,898. The white line that you're seeing above, where I've been talking about a lot lately, that we will be trading in between these two levels. So even if we do not break above the $42,898, I think for sure it will be very good to see Bitcoin retest this level of resistance, even if it gets rejected by it and we see Bitcoin trading once again towards the downside afterwards. I think it is a very, very healthy well, it's very healthy for the Bitcoin price action to just retest this level of resistance, especially because it is very probable that we might not be able to break above it, because if we take a look a little bit further, unfortunately chart is not loading. We already retested this level once we broke below it. We retested this level, let's say once, as you could see over here, and it was a major level of support before we broke down below it. So that is also why I think personally that this will be a major level that you have to take into consideration. And if we take a look even further back at the previous data, if we take a look, you could see that this is actually a major level of support. It has served as a major level of support over here once we saw that the bottom of this movement towards the downside was found on top of this level of support. And also once we broke above this level, once we saw this major pump on Bitcoin, once it decided to reaccumulate before heading even further, it also found support on top of this level. So I personally think it will be quite difficult for Bitcoin to break above the $42,898, but it will for sure happen if we, maybe not right now, but if we retest this level of support at this period in time, I personally think that it will be very likely that afterwards, if we get rejected towards the downside, we still will be able to break above it and find support on top of it, maybe in a period of time of approximately 2 weeks from today's. For sure, I think it won't be happening in 2 weeks. I personally think that it is more likely to happen right now, especially because the indicators are showing us that we still have enough momentum towards the upside as well on the daily time frame compared to Bitcoin, because the MACD did not have a crossover, and the MACD unfortunately is not loading on the 1 hourly time frame, so that is quite a pity. I will try to enable it once more. I do not understand why it's not working. I will be refreshing. I will be refreshing the site just to take a look if it right now will be possible to enable the MACD. So yes, right now we are enabling the MACD on the 1 hourly time frame compared to the US dollar. And what we're seeing over here is something very, very interesting going on. We are seeing almost a second momentum switch on the MACD getting started, and we're heading towards a very, very high upwards momentum on the MACD. So for sure, very interesting to take a look at what is going on over here, because the last time we saw a crossover occurring at this height of the MACD was quite a long time ago. So this is a very interesting move, and I personally think if we see this crossover occurring, that we will see even more momentum towards the upside getting started on Bitcoin, and might be able for Bitcoin to break above this upward sloping resistance, finding support on top of it, and afterwards seeing that 11% move towards the upside, heading all the way towards the 44K. So for sure, very interesting. But let's say this crossover won't occur, and that we will see a breakout towards the downside once it decides to retest this upward sloping support. This would mean that we will see Bitcoin for sure heading all the way down towards the $33,500 level, and I personally think that it will be able to find support once again on the level where it found previous support already for a few times, as I showed you before. So very interesting. I think this might occur if the momentum wasn't as strong. But right now we are currently just seeing that we are getting supported by the momentum indicators. We are seeing a bullish divergence on the 1 hourly time frame, and also the EMA ribbon is supporting Bitcoin for the very first time after it broke above it. So that is something very, very interesting to look at, and I think you have to take that into consideration. As you can see over here, also the EMA ribbon is serving as a major level of support. So currently, my personal opinion on Bitcoin is it will for sure be going up all the way towards 42K. It might be get rejected at that level, especially because it is a major level of overhead resistance, and as well because the moving averages are above us on the daily time frame and the EMA ribbon as well. But still, the moving averages, very sorry for that. But still we are seeing the MACD on the daily time frame very bullish, and with a lot of upward momentum coming on towards the Bitcoin price action. So for sure, very interesting to take a look at. What we can actually see on Glassnode is something that I think is quite interesting, and that is the SOPR. Because on the SOPR of Glassnode, we are actually finding, if we take a look at, let's say, the past few weeks, once the SOPR breaks below the 1 level, it means that people are selling their Bitcoin with losses. And what we are seeing right now currently, for the last time we saw this SOPR breaking above the 1 line and make people selling Bitcoin with profits, was at the 3rd of June. Afterwards, we saw major momentum towards the downside. People were selling Bitcoin with losses, and right now we are currently heading all the way up, and we are actually at the 1.1 level of SOPR, and that's for sure something very interesting. And what you can see over here as well on the upper part of the chart, the thin gray line, that is the Bitcoin price, and you can see that the Bitcoin price action is also going up. And you could see that as well once people were making major profits at approximately, let's say, the 28th of December. We saw that there was also a major momentum towards the upside getting started. So yeah, for sure right now people are fortunately once again making profit on Bitcoin, so that is looking quite good and quite steady for now on the SOPR. And once the SOPR breaks way further above and we see such spikes like we saw in the past, that could mean that we have to pay attention, and that we could probably see a move towards the downside getting created. Yes, for sure, at this point in time, we saw even a bigger move towards the upside getting started after this major fall of the SOPR. So Bitcoin, people were buying Bitcoin over here, and afterwards the price action of Bitcoin went down, and people decided to sell their Bitcoin with smaller amounts of profits than they were doing before. So very interesting. The SOPR is actually telling us, and I personally think once we see the SOPR breaking underneath this 1 line, it is a major opportunity to buy Bitcoin, and that is actually what I did when we saw this major spikes towards the downside getting started. And right now we are seeing that it is actually playing itself quite well out, because Bitcoin is gaining strength, and I personally think that we will for sure see 42K very soon in the near future. So if you would like me to answer any of your questions, do not forget to type those in the comment section down below. I will really appreciate that. And I would like to also welcome Pantelis Japanis who is saying that it's a nice analysis and watched a couple of videos before to keep going. So thank you very much for watching the videos, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up down below if you are actually enjoying the content so far. So what I wanted to take a look at is also Ethereum, because I think Ethereum is very interesting coin. I am a major Ethereum holder, and I would like to see the price action of Ethereum go even further up towards the upside. And yeah, for sure, I think Ethereum has major potential to break even further above, and what we're seeing over here is something very interesting going on. I will start just by taking a look at this pattern, and the pattern that we're seeing compared to the US dollar is actually something pretty amazing. Right now we saw already that we saw this major drop towards the downside getting started. For the people who do not know how big this drop was, it was at approximate drop of, let's take a look, all the way towards its lowest point. We had a drop of approximately 57% towards the downside, and right now we are currently trading a little bit higher. Right now we are currently trading at approximately 39%, and I would say actually a 39% discount for Ethereum, because right now you're able to accumulate more Ethereum before it heads even further up and breaks this all-time high record for the second time in 2021. So which levels do we have to take into consideration for the price action of Ethereum? And what I personally think is very, very interesting to take a look at is actually these two levels over here. The orange box in between the $3,445 and $3,571, and also this will be a major level of resistance. And down below us we will see in between the $2,000 and the $1,272 that this orange box will serve as a major level of support, and already did previously in the past several times, and this box served as well as many times as previous support and resistance. So for sure, very interesting to take a look at what is going on. And what we could see over here happening, I think, is something very interesting and of utmost importance. For sure, Bitcoin does not have to crash this party, because the Ethereum party is a big party that I want to be part of. And what we are seeing over here is this ascending triangle getting started, and this ascending triangle, I think, is something of utmost importance. We already saw several retests of this horizontal level of resistance over here, and we saw also that we already retested the upward sloping support line twice already. So this is a pattern that has been confirmed, and I think this pattern will eventually break out towards the upside. And why I personally think so is because symmetric ascending triangles tend to break out towards the upside. These patterns are more likely to break out towards the upside than towards the downside, but still it could be possible, especially because we saw momentum towards the downside getting created, that we will see the price action of Ethereum out of this pattern going towards the downside. If this occurs, I think it will be a major sell-off, and that you will be able to accumulate even more Ethereum. But right now I was just accumulating Ethereum quite a while when it was trading right over here. Once it retested this level of support just several days ago, and also once it broke inside of the orange box. And I would not like to see Ethereum break below this orange box, because that would be very bad for the overall uptrend for the Ethereum price. So for sure, I would not like to see that, and I will be drawing a last line over here. So if we take a look at this line like this, we could place it like this. This is actually the previous trend line. You could see, and I will be coloring this line a other color. I will be making it green for us so we can have a better look. And what we're seeing actually is that we were not in the past we were not able to break above this level of downward sloping resistance. We got multiple times rejected when we tried to break above it, and when we eventually did break above it, we saw that we retested this level of downward sloping resistance. We found support on top of it at this period in time, and I think that is very, very important if you take a look at the Ethereum price action, because right now this will serve as a major level of support once we break even further towards the downside. But this is also telling us that there is a trend reversal getting started at this point in time, when Ethereum decided to retest not just only the orange box at approximately $2,275, but also it decided to retest this downward sloping support that was previously a level of resistance. So for sure, very interesting to take a look at the price action of Ethereum over here, and that is actually a trend reversal getting started. So that is also why I personally think that we will for sure see the move towards the upside getting created, because Ethereum already broke above this downward sloping resistance line, and it found support on top of it, confirming the trend reversal. So that's what I personally think that will occur, that we will see a breakout towards the downside, and that is why I would like to measure it right now. But before doing so, I will take a look at the comment section. And Pantelis Sherman bought thin Ethereum at $1,850, and I do not blame you guys. I think it is a very smart choice, and I would right now, if I had the opportunity to buy thin Ethereum, I would do it right away. And yeah, for sure, at 1,850, this is a way better price target, but I think right now it's still a major level to accumulate Ethereum, and you don't want to miss out on this party, because we will see an eventual pump towards the upside getting started. And this pump towards the upside will be looking something similar to this. Let's take a look what we're seeing over here. So all the way from the horizontal level of resistance towards the touch point at the upward sloping support line, and I will be placing once again the blue lines that I'm usually using, and I will be just placing it like this. And if we see a breakout occur, let's say at this point in time, if Ethereum is able to break above this horizontal level of resistance, find support on top of it as a confirmation that we will see a breakout outside of this ascending triangle, I personally think that we will see this major move getting started compared to the US dollar. And this major move is a move of approximately 31% towards the upside, and that is for sure very, very interesting to take a look at, because this 31% towards the upside will not only be a major move towards the upside in the price action of Ethereum, but it will also mean that we will be breaking above this orange level over here. And as I said before, this is a major level what we have to monitor very closely, and once Ethereum breaks above it, it will serve as a major level of support as well. So for sure, very interesting to take a look at what is going on over here. And if Ethereum breaks all the way up towards the upside, we will be heading towards the $3,855. And I personally think that, especially because we are seeing this major level of resistance over here, we will be trading inside of the orange box instead of going all the way towards the $3,855. And that's just because I think this is a more difficult level to break through, and that we will trade in between these two levels before heading even further. So let's enable also right now on the 4-hourly time frame. Just in a few seconds I will be enabling the EMA ribbon, but before doing so, I would like to place this move towards the downside. Why I'm placing it over here is because I personally think that we will still see a momentum move towards the upside before heading back down if we break out towards the downside and we break below this upward sloping support line and we retest it and we get rejected by it. We will see a major move towards the downside getting started. That move will be also 31%, and I think it will be a critical move for Ethereum if this occurs, especially because if Ethereum breaks below the $2,000 level underneath the orange box, it will be very difficult for Ethereum to recover and go even further up. So yeah, for sure, very, very interesting. So let's take a look at the comment section. I saw that Pantelis is also saying Is this a maybe take some profits at that level? For sure, I personally think once we break above the $35,000 level, I will be personally taking profits on my Ethereum holdings. I won't be well, selling everything. That is not what I do with Ethereum. I'm personally someone who wants to hold Ethereum for a longer period of time, just as I do with Bitcoin. But still, I would like to take profits whenever I can. And yeah, for sure, once we break above the $33,571 level, I will be selling a part of my portfolio and taking profit at some point over there. So yeah, that could be quite a wise decision to do. I won't be selling that much because I think eventually once we break above this level at $3,500, we will head even further up. But for sure, it's not a advice. I would like to just give my personal opinion about it. That is what I will be doing, but you have to do your own due diligence about the topic and what you would like to do and when you would like to take profit as well. So, I wanted to head towards the 4-hourly chart on the Ethereum compared to the US dollar. And what I wanted to take a look at over here is something a little bit different. And that is actually the EMA ribbon. Because if we take a look at the EMA ribbon, what we are seeing over here is that for the very first time, after we broke above the EMA ribbon and we were supported several times when we broke below, the EMA ribbon did not hold the Ethereum price action. It broke below the EMA ribbon, and right now the shorts are taking over the longs once again on the 4-hourly time frame. For sure, it could be looking bad, but still Ethereum is holding strong. You could see that the last, let's take a look, 1, 2, 3, 4 candles, and actually the 5th candle right now are holding strong above this level of support at, let's take a look, $2,540. And we are trading inside of the EMA ribbon, and it is quite possible that we will see a breakout above the EMA ribbon, especially if the MACD is also showing us upward momentum, and that is exactly what the MACD is doing right now. We are seeing that the MACD had a crossover several hours ago, and that we right now are seeing a major move towards the upside getting started, and I don't think personally that we will see a crossover anytime soon. So especially due to the MACD, I personally think that we will be able to break out eventually above the EMA ribbon and get supported by the EMA ribbon once again once we do so. So very important to take a look at that, and for sure very interesting what this could be doing. So I personally think we will break out above the EMA ribbon for sure, especially because also if you take a look at the daily time frame and we enable the EMA ribbon over there, you will see that the price action of, or is it compared to Bitcoin? No, yeah, well, over here you will see that the EMA ribbon is actually serving as a major level of resistance because the shorts took over the longs for the very first time after a long period of time on the Ethereum price action. But compared to Bitcoin on the daily time frame, we are still holding very strong. The EMA ribbon is supporting Ethereum for the moment, and also the moving averages are far below us on the Bitcoin chart on the daily time frame, and that is also personally why I think that we won't be heading even further down. And I think that right now where we're currently trading at with Ethereum will be a right point to find support before heading even further. Why I do think this is likely to occur is not only because we are right now getting supported by the EMA ribbon, but also because if we take a closer look, we are seeing over here, if we find support at this level, on top of this level of support, we are seeing each time higher lows getting created, and that is just a sign that the uptrend is still there. Once we see a breakout even further down, then we won't be seeing higher lows getting created, and that could be a potential threat to the price action of Ethereum. But right now it's currently looking still very good and very strong on the daily time frame compared to Bitcoin, and on the daily time frame compared to the US dollar, we are still seeing Ethereum getting supported by the 100-day moving average. That is the thin yellow line over here, and it is finding resistance by the upper green thin line, and that is the 50-day moving average. But still, if we break out towards the downside, as I've said before, outside of this ascending triangle, and we break out even further, I personally think that we will be holding strong above the $2,000 level, especially because at that point in time, it will not only be the orange box where we'll be finding support on, but also the 200-day moving average. And that is for sure a major level of support. So currently, I think it is looking quite good for Ethereum. We're seeing higher lows getting created, and I think that is for sure very interesting to see eventually this breakout towards the $3,571. So once again, let's take a look at the comments, but I definitely agree, brother. I'm in for 10k Ethereum, but maybe for a correction to make some more gains in that level. For sure, I think before we will head towards the 10k level on Ethereum, I'm a personal big fan of Ethereum, and I think that if we go all the way up towards 5k or 6k before heading the 10k, we will see a correction coming, and you would like to take profit at some level above the previous all-time high at approximately $4,500. I will be taking profits just because eventually, once we break all the way down below, I personally think that we will be heading towards the $4,500, or we will get supported even further below if we see a rejection at some point once it goes further up towards the $8,000. So that is what I think. And perfect. Thank you very much for watching the stream. And if you would like me to proceed with all this information, do not forget to give me your personal opinion about crypto in the comment section, and I will take a look at it as well. And if you are interested in joining our Discord server, down below you will be able to enter to the Discord server. You will be seeing these updates about the videos. Also, you will be able to chat with other members of the Crypto Toro server, and you can all be able to join the Discord server just by selecting this link down below in the description section, and it would be highly appreciated if you did so. And you will be also able to exchange your crypto knowledge with others and gain more knowledge about crypto and the overall market. So very good and very nice to see the crypto server and the community grow. That would be something I personally would like to see eventually, and I hope you would like to be part of it as well. So this was the Ethereum price action. What I personally think is this major move towards the upside getting started, 31%, as I said before, all the way towards $3,870, and afterwards getting rejected by it and finding support on top of the orange box, or even in between the orange box if it is not able to break above it. So for sure, right now, Ethereum price action is looking very good, and I personally think it is a major level to accumulate some Ethereum. What I will personally be doing, especially if we take a look at the 4-hourly time frame, once we see a retest of this upward sloping support line, I personally will be entering a long trade position at approximately over here at let's say $2,555. And if it is not breaking underneath this upward sloping support, otherwise I will be shorting. Once it breaks underneath this line, I will be shorting Ethereum to see what the price action is going to do. But right now, I currently think that is not a smart choice. I think it's a better choice to enter over here once it retests this upward sloping support. Once it retests this level, enter with low leverage. Right now, I think low leverages are very good to trade with, especially because you can make a lot of money out of it if you just stay calm and use small leverages. You are also able to proceed with your trades all the way towards new all-time highs, and I think that is something very interesting to take into consideration. And otherwise, if you would like to trade with some higher leverage, I would wait until we see a confirmation of the breakout of this ascending triangle by Ethereum by breaking above this horizontal level of resistance, finding support on top of it, and afterwards breaking all the way towards the upside. That is personally what I would do if you would like to use more than 7 or 8x leverage. Otherwise, if you are just willing to use let's say 5 up to 7x leverage, I would start my trade over here, because I think that is still safe, because you will be able, if you do so, to place your stop loss at approximately, let's say, $2,200, and that will be a very safe spot if you ask me to place your stop loss, especially because you will be also getting supported at $2,284, but as well, eventually, if we see a major move towards the upside getting started, the 200-day average moving average will be eventually getting up and also being a level of major support at approximately $2,200. So yeah, that is my personal opinion, and if you do not want to miss out on this trade, do not forget that down below in the description you will find several links to join Bybit, Femix, Gatey, or Binance, where you are able to trade and exchange cryptocurrencies. So for sure, very interesting to take a look at. And also very interesting is that you can earn up to $2,000 deposit bonus on Femix and up to $1,610 deposit bonus down on Bybit. And on Gatey.io, you are able to trade up to 736 different types of cryptocurrency in just one platform. So you do not have to exchange or send crypto to other cryptocurrency platforms and pay those amounts of fees. So that is something very interesting to take a look at as well. If anyone wants me to take a look at a cryptocurrency that they are right now very interested in, do not forget to place it down below in the comment section for sure. Otherwise, I will be taking a look at a other part over here, and actually I would like to discuss some things with you. What I would like to discuss is actually some news that I've been seeing lately, and that news is sorry, it is quite hot in here, so I just enabled the fan. So let's take a look. El Salvador brings new global puzzle. What is Bitcoin and how to tax it? So I think this is a question that lots of countries are asking themselves now. How should I tax Bitcoin? What are we going to do about it? Should we legalize it to make it more, well, make it easier for the countries themselves to actually tax this cryptocurrency, or should they actually ban? It is just, there are so many questions right now, especially due to El Salvador legalizing crypto as a legal tender. That was the major news of yesterday, and let's take a look at what they are saying over here. There is a great number of issues debated today following the major news that El Salvador recognized the world #1 cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, as legal tender. This may bring some important changes when it comes to how Bitcoin is treated on the legal stage globally. However, in what manner and to what extent is not exactly clear yet. As reported, the Legislative Assembly of El Salvador passed the Bitcoin law today. Also, the 90-day countdown to promulgation has already begun, meaning that in September, Bitcoin will be recognized as a satisfactory payment for any monetary debt. So you are able to pay any type of debt or any type of monetary exchange in El Salvador with Bitcoin within 90 days from now. So that is very interesting. The new law also allows prices to be expressed in Bitcoin and taxes to be paid in it, while exchanges in Bitcoin will not be subjected to capital gains tax. It will be interesting to see how tax authorities around the world react to this. Richard Howlett, a solicitor at Selachi Legal Limited, a London-based law firm, told CryptoNews.com. According to him, if El Salvador would declare that their legal tender is Bitcoin only, then it would set an argument that Bitcoin elsewhere is not subject to capital gains tax also. However, I fear that governments worldwide would not want to lose capital gains tax income and would likely state that they do not recognize it as a currency and it remains closed as an asset. Howlett said, adding that it would take some form of legal precedent to change this. If court agrees it is not subject to capital gains tax as it is a currency, then there will be lots of very happy crypto owners. Nicholas Schmidt, partner with the Australian law firm Wolf Thies, and author of 2 books on crypto, also noted that the fact that El Salvador legal tender is now Bitcoin means that legal provision in state statute books making reference to other jurisdictions, legal tender will now possibly also cover Bitcoin. So for sure, very interesting. So what they're saying is, well, this guy, Nicholas Schmidt, who wrote 2 books about cryptocurrencies, says that El Salvador's legal tender is now Bitcoin, means that legal provisions and statute books, so they will all the legal provisions, so each time of legal provision that you have, your house, etc., things that you buy, will be making reference to other jurisdictions. So the legal tender, so the country will have to place Bitcoin in their data books as well. So very interesting for sure. And there are many rules which apply to currencies, and where previously you could say that Bitcoin is not encompassed, now that Bitcoin has been adopted by one particular country as its currency, it will have to be evaluated whether such rules now do apply, he told Crypto News, stressing that it is possible to make a general statement applicable to all countries. There will be cases where this does have an impact and cases where this is not the case, depending on the interpretation of the wording of a concrete provision, Smith added. Meanwhile, a US-based lawyer told Crypto News that while the Internal Revenue Service treats Bitcoin as the sale of the property at capital rates taxed on the gain-less basis in terms of international transactions, it is not wise to use Bitcoin in international trade deals with Salvadorian partners, considering its instability and difficulties in legitimate banking. So yeah, for sure, this is something that is quite a block on the road. So Bitcoin right now, making trades with El Salvador is very difficult if you would be purchasing everything you want from that country with Bitcoin, especially because it might be able that on your own country where you are, where your home is or where your company is based, Bitcoin is still not taxable, and still there aren't any type of rules about how crypto should be taxed, or if Bitcoin is actually legal or not. That might also be possible if you live in some other countries outside of Europe or outside of, for example, the United States. And yeah, this could be bringing some difficulties. Let's say, let's take as an example, could Chinese companies make deals with El Salvador if the Chinese government is actually banning crypto? What they already did in 2013, so don't take me wrong, I know that is not major news and I don't want to spread FUD, but let's say a company out of China won't be able to make deals with El Salvador, so that is something difficult about it. So most major international corporations aren't going to be keen to take Bitcoin as tender in a deal, the lawyer, who wished to remain anonymous, added. In either case, El Salvador will now be in the spotlight for some time. For sure, that is very, very true. So, an experimental stunt. Governments and central banks around the world will be watching El Salvador experiment to see if Bitcoin becomes part of daily life for payments, remittance, and a reserve asset for banks and corporations in the country. Ross Middleton, Chief Financial Officer of Diversify, A layer 2 decentralized exchange, DEX, and decentralized finance platform said, however, per Howard, El Salvador model can't simply be copy-pasted, as every country would legislate in their own way according to their formal procedures. But as the El Salvador model proves to be a success, other countries will follow. So for sure, I think this is true. If the model of El Salvador eventually is a major success inside of the cryptocurrency space, I think other countries will follow, and I think this will be the first step towards big adoption of cryptocurrencies overall. He estimates that most likely it will be countries that have the demographic of third world country, and BTC adoption could generate wealth that is unimaginable for them and bring some relief. So for sure, I think this is a true part as well. I think a lot of countries where wealth is already there will be very let's say not afraid, but they won't be open to actually take Bitcoin as their legal tender because they already are rich and they see a lot of difficulties about the tax payment and about how to actually securely make cryptocurrencies a part of normal life. But third world countries, they do not have that much money, they do not have a big GDP, for example, and adding crypto could eventually, in a longer period of time, give those countries a major advantage compared to European countries or major nations as Australia or China or United States, by just adapting Bitcoin and showing it to their people, so they will be able to accumulate Bitcoin at cheaper prices, and also the country itself will be able to accumulate Bitcoin at cheaper prices. And by doing so, eventually, once cryptocurrencies become the standard, the mainstream payment method, they will also be one step ahead of other countries that are right now still very careful with the legislation and legalizing Bitcoin. So for sure, very interesting. And when it comes to specifically the EU and North America countries doing the same as El Salvador, it might be better not to hold our breaths. So the EU, in Howard's opinion, too caught up in its own self-importance to adopt, which is why they miss many opportunities. And that is for sure definitely true. Will they adopt BTC instead of the euro? In the short term, no, he said, and in the long term, if, and it is a big if, the EU remains as one unified bloc, there is a potential it could happen. But if the EU falls down and the countries within it move back to being on their own, it would make perfect sense for these countries to adopt Bitcoin instead of going back to their former currency. And that is for sure something I think that is very likely to occur. If the European Union breaks apart, I don't know if that will be something that will possibly happen. We do not know if that is something that is happening or will happen in the future, but I think it is definitely true that if a country eventually decides to move out of the European Union, it is more likely to adopt Bitcoin, or maybe not Bitcoin, but a cryptocurrency, than going back to their previous legal currency. And that could be, in the case of, let's say, any type of European country, their previous, payment methods. So North America too would probably never do this per Howlett's. They like to print money in the same way the UK does, and when it suits them. Furthermore, both North America and UK are sticking to old-fashioned values and the manner in which they feel they have to control their cities. And that is very true as well. Meanwhile, Smith described the initiative of El Salvador president as definitely a publicity stunt, which has put this tiny Latin American country into the spotlight. And for sure, I think that is not something bad. I think that is something very good for the overall country. I think it will bring El Salvador, for a small period of time, a attention and also a little bit of wealth by doing this, and I think that is something the country might have needed, because they were not as sophisticated as some other countries are. So while bold, the move is not a paneca for El Salvador, for all of El Salvador woos, said Smith. He argued that the Latin American countries are in a mess, contribute to by decades of economic and cultural Marxism, a mess that was recently highlighted by hundreds of people taking selfies in front of a dumpster full of worthless Venezuelan bills at last week's Bitcoin event in Miami. However, Howlett opined that Bitcoin might help the country in case of hyperinflation, and for sure that is something we saw previously in, for example, Argentina, where we saw that hyperinflation made the country's economy crash. We saw a flash crash in Argentina, and I think that if this occurs right now, for example, in the upcoming 2 years in El Salvador, for sure Bitcoin will help this country to stay up and to be able to just prevent hyperinflation in the future. So yeah, let's take a look a little bit further. If you do have any questions, do not forget to place those in the comments down below. And if you would like me to talk about a specific type of cryptocurrency, do not forget to place it down below as well. And also, let's take a look at Litecoin. I think Litecoin is a very well performing asset. It has a lot of potential. What you could see over here is that I had drawn this parallel channel on the Litecoin chart compared to the US dollar on the 4-hourly time frame. Very sorry for that. And well, we broke out towards the downside, and we are currently over here, and I think this is not something that right now has any type of significance. What we could be seeing is actually another type of parallel channel. I do like these channels to use them while trading, especially because they give you a clear sign of what could possibly happen once it breaks out above. I think the price targets are quite well. Once you see a breakout above, for example, this downward sloping resistance, I think these breakouts are more likely to be accurate, and the triangles tend to break out a little bit towards the downside. So triangles are also very accurate once it comes up to a breakout, but I think the breakout measurement of a parallel channel is a little bit better. So what we're seeing over here is this downward sloping parallel channel, and we already saw that we have seen 3 touch points on the downward sloping support line, and we saw also already 2 tests of the downward sloping resistance line. And this is something very interesting, because eventually, once we break out above this downward sloping resistance, and we retest it by finding support on top of it, we see a major move towards the upside getting created. And that is also the same once we break underneath this downward sloping support, we retest this downward sloping support, and we get rejected by it. Then we will see a major move towards the downside getting started. But currently, it is just looking fine for me inside of this downward sloping parallel channel, and I would like to enable the EMA ribbon. And what the EMA ribbon is telling us on the Litecoin compared to the US dollar chart, if it loads, is right now we are trading inside of the EMA ribbon. And what I think is very interesting to see is, if you take a look at the overall trend towards the downside on the Litecoin chart, is that we saw over here, once we broke below the EMA ribbon, we were multiple times rejected by the EMA ribbon before we were able to break above it or inside of it, as we saw that was the case on the Litecoin chart. And why I think this is very interesting is because once we broke inside of the EMA ribbon, we did get rejected by it, and we were not rejected very, very badly. We were just rejected a little, and we tried to retest this EMA ribbon multiple times after we got rejected. We retested it already 1, 2, 3 times, afterwards we broke above it and we saw a minor drop below it, but still we were able to break above the EMA ribbon at this point in time, and we were able to find support just for a small period of time after breaking once again below the EMA ribbon. So we were 3 times already rejected after that. We saw a major rejection, and right now we are trying to break above the EMA ribbon for the second time during the past couple of weeks. And I think this is of utmost importance, especially because if you take a look at what the MACD is telling us, is what I think is definitely very interesting, because the MACD, as you can see, did had a crossover just several, let's say 1 day ago approximately, and the momentum towards the upside will still get going. We won't see a crossover anytime soon, maybe in approximately 24 hours. So this still has entire day to of upward momentum on the MACD, and that is for sure going to help Bitcoin break above the EMA ribbon. And if we see Bitcoin finding support on top of the EMA ribbon, and the EMA ribbon actually having a crossover towards upward momentum and the longs taking over the shorts, I personally think that we will for sure see a major move towards the upside getting started, and Litecoin breaking above this downward sloping resistance line. But for the current moment in time, I would say that the EMA ribbon is still serving as a major level of resistance, and we have to break above the EMA ribbon before we will see any type of major movement and a breakout above this downward sloping resistance proceeding. So also let's take a look at the volume levels, and what the volume levels are saying is actually something very, very good. You are seeing over here that we are seeing a major upward momentum getting started on the volume. We are seeing positive volume getting created, a lot of positive volume, also a few negative candles, but still the majority are positive candles. So they're actually confirming the overall trend towards the upside on the Litecoin chart. And I personally think that that is also in particular something you would like to take into account, because this is not a fake run up. This is a run up that is actually backed by buyers, and people are right now just accumulating Litecoin. So I personally think that is something you would like to do as well. If you're already a Litecoin holder, I personally think that right now it is quite a good place and time to accumulate even more, especially if you take a look at the overall trend. You can see that right now, if you break out towards the downside, yeah, for sure we could be heading even lower, but as we saw, the EMA ribbon, the MACD is serving as a level of the MACD is telling us that we will see major momentum towards the upside getting started during the next upcoming day. And also, if we break above the EMA ribbon, once we do so, I think we will see a breakout above this downward sloping resistance line of this parallel channel, and eventually seeing a major potential breakout towards the upside. So how is that breakout going to look like? If I measure it from this downward sloping resistance all the way down towards the beginning of this, towards the touch point of this downward sloping support line, you will see that we'll be seeing the measurement of this breakout. And if we take a look at where it will be going to or heading towards, it will look something similar to this, and that would be a major breakout of approximately 21%. So this 21% breakout, as you can see over here, would be very significant, because you could see that Litecoin will be heading towards the $221 level. That is also the level that was multiple times, well, 2 times tested by this wicks of the candles. Once it broke below it, we saw this recovery over here, and it tried to go even further up, but it got rejected by this level. And that is also why I think that if we see a breakout outside of this descending parallel channel, it is very likely that we will see Litecoin, the price action of Litecoin, stay or underneath the underneath the $221, or if it has enough strength at that moment in time, find support on top of the $2,220 $221 and have a period of just consolidation before heading even further. So that is the possible price target, $221. Otherwise, if we see a major breakout towards the downside occur, we will be heading towards the $98 level. And I think this is very likely to occur, especially because if this occurs, it would also mean that the EMA ribbon did serve as a major level of resistance that we get rejected by the EMA ribbon, and the EMA ribbon will be dragging all the price action of Litecoin all the way down to eventually the $123 for sure. And I personally think it will be heading level if we see a breakout towards the downside occur on the Litecoin price action. And that is also why I think it is of utmost importance to take a look what the EMA ribbon will be doing, and if the MACD, if the upward momentum will be enough momentum to find support on top of the EMA ribbon and do not get rejected by it. So very interesting what the price action of Litecoin is going to do. And also let's take a look a little bit further what is going on as well. So let's take a look at the daily chart. Let's enable the moving averages, and what the moving averages are saying to us is that we are seeing major resistance above us. We are seeing the 200-day moving average over here, the red thin line, and also the 150-day moving averages even farther above. So once the breakout towards the upside occurs, we will have to see we will have to break above the 200 and also eventually above the 150-day moving average over here. And I personally think that that is possible if there is enough momentum towards the upside, and if the EMA ribbon will be also supporting Litecoin on the 4-hourly time frame. And let's take a look. Yeah, also the EMA ribbon on the daily time frame is serving as a major level of resistance. So this will be a very tough move towards the upside, but I think it is something that needs to occur for the Litecoin price action, especially because if it drops even further down, I think it will be very difficult to create another trend reversal and start going up. So that's what I personally think that you have to take into consideration. There are major levels of resistance above us on the daily time frame, but still I think if we are seeing enough momentum towards the upside getting started on the 4-hourly time frame and the EMA ribbon supporting us over there as well, it is very likely that we will be able to break up towards the upside, maybe not all the way towards the $221 level, but it is quite possible that we will be heading maybe all the way up towards the $194 level before heading further. And that would also be quite great, because then you will be supported by the support levels at $184 and also at the $194, but also you will be supported by the EMA ribbon at that point in time, and that is for sure very interesting. And yes, we are currently seeing that we are in the middle of the purple area on the RSI, so we still have enough time to break out towards the upside before we will get rejected once we break above the dotted line on the RSI. So for sure, very good to see. And yeah, I personally think it is still possible for Litecoin to break towards the upside, and that's also why I would like to take a look at Litecoin compared to Bitcoin. So let's take a look at the comment section. I see that there is a new comment that appeared. Let's take a look. So GR, welcome to the live stream. I'm really glad you joined. You're looking high F. Well, I might say thank you, but I don't think it is a compliment. So yeah, well, still thank you for being here, and if you enjoyed the content so far, do not forget to give me a thumbs up. So let's take a look at what we're seeing over here. Over here we saw the Litecoin price action compared to Bitcoin breaking out underneath this parallel channel. I personally think right now that it is for sure not looking quite great. I do apologize for saying that it did look better on the US dollar chart. I thought that the momentum towards the upside would be enough to break above the EMA ribbon and find support on top of it, but especially right now, because I'm seeing this breakout underneath the support line, horizontal support line on the Bitcoin chart outside of this parallel channel, I think for sure we will see the price action of Litecoin going even further down towards possibly the $98 level. So yeah, for sure, I think that is very likely to occur. I think this move towards the downside is still not finished yet. I think it will be a potential move of 9%, and we are currently just seeing a breakout of approximately 4%. So we are, let's say, in the middle of the breakout, so it could be heading even further down. If we enable the moving the EMA ribbon, you are seeing that the EMA ribbon actually rejected Litecoin's price action strength compared to Bitcoin, and that is also why it broke below this horizontal level of support. And right now we saw that it retested this horizontal level of support as a resistance, and it got rejected, and it went even further down on its strength compared to Bitcoin. So for sure, it's not looking very good for Litecoin at this moment in time. And if we enable the moving averages, they are also serving as major levels of resistance. You can see over here that it got rejected by the 50-day moving average before heading even further down. So right now, it's currently not looking very strong for Litecoin. I would like to enable the RSI and also the moving averages. So this is actually quite good to know. The RSI on the daily time frame compared to on the 4-hourly time frame compared to Bitcoin is breaking below the dotted line on the lower part of the purple box. And I think this is very important because once it breaks below, as we saw previously, it can stay below for quite a while, but eventually after it stays underneath the dotted line, we will see a major move towards the upside getting started. So that could be possible as well over here, that we will see once it breaks out below the dotted line, the price, the strength compared to Bitcoin increasing once again, as we saw previously as well, occurring once we saw this V-shaped recovery after a major drop over here. So currently, I think the price action of Litecoin might be going towards the downside. It might be heading towards that $98 or $123 level before we will be seeing Litecoin heading even further up. For sure, it also depends on what Bitcoin will be doing. If Bitcoin has enough strength, I think the momentum towards the upside will be huge, and also we will get supported by the EMA ribbon, and it might be still possible to see a trend reversal as well on the Bitcoin chart and seeing Litecoin recover and breaking once again above this horizontal level of resistance and finding support on top of this and re-entering this parallel channel before heading even further up. So very amazing to see this, and I think personally right now for Litecoin you have to be very careful if you would like to enter a position for a trade. I think it is very possible if you see a breakout underneath this downward sloping support. I personally would like to enter a short position because I think we will see a major drop towards the downside getting started, and otherwise I would wait until you start trading on Litecoin. And also if you would like to accumulate a spot trading position, so if you would like to just buy one Litecoin, for example, and just hold it for a period of time, I will be also waiting until you see the confirmation of Litecoin breaking above this downward sloping resistance, because at that point in time you will know that the price action will be towards the upside instead of towards the downside, especially because you will see that we won't be creating lower highs each time. We will start by breaking above this downward sloping resistance. We will start creating a higher low structure, and also that would be incredible to see it climbing up the ladder, as I would say. So very interesting to take a look at this. Thank you very much for watching right now. I really appreciate you doing so. If you would like me to take a look at a type of cryptocurrency that you are holding, for example, do not forget and do not hesitate to do so. I would really appreciate to take a look at it. And otherwise, I will be taking a look at a other type of cryptocurrency at this certain moment in time. And I would like to take a look at Cardano, for example. So Cardano, I think it has a major potential. If people do not know Cardano, I think that is not quite possible. If you are into cryptocurrencies, you know Cardano for sure. It is a top 5 cryptocurrency. I think it has major potential to become even bigger. I think it might be even able to surpass eventually Ethereum at some point in time, but I still think Ethereum is very strong, so maybe it will eventually surpass Bitcoin in market cap once crypto becomes mainstream. I personally think that Bitcoin will become very huge and very big, but I do not think that Bitcoin will become the major global currency, and I think Cardano and Ethereum have more potential to be they have like a broader spectrum of people that will be able to trade on their platforms. So that is for sure something I think that will be more likely to occur. And let's take a look at this over here. So we are starting by taking a look at Cardano compared to Bitcoin. And if we take a look at Cardano compared to Bitcoin, we saw this major uptrend. Yes, during one of the live streams, I thought that it might be possible that Cardano would have found support on top of this upward sloping support line and retest this horizontal level of resistance, but unfortunately that did not occur. We saw the price action compared to Bitcoin actually breaking below this upward sloping support. Once it tried to get above it, it got rejected by it over here. And right now we have been currently trading sideways for quite a while now on the Cardano chart, and currently at this particular moment in time we are seeing a major decline in strength compared to Bitcoin, approximately 12.5%. So this is very interesting to take a look at, especially because if you take a look a little bit more closely, you are seeing that it is not just heading even further down, it is also breaking out outside of this, I will say it one more time, this parallel channel. And for sure I think the price target will be somewhere around here. I would like to leave this upward sloping resistance because I think personally that we will be seeing this upward sloping resistance anytime in the future. So I think that is something you would like to take into consideration just maybe in a few weeks time, and that is why I will be just leaving it over there as it is. Let's take a look at what the EMA ribbon is telling us on the 4-hourly chart compared to Bitcoin. And the EMA ribbon is actually for the first time right now the shorts are taking over the longs, and it is serving as a major level of resistance instead of support, as we saw previously. Once we broke above it, we found support on top of it. We broke for a small tad underneath it, but we recovered rather quickly. And once we retested the EMA ribbon, it served as a major level of support before we broke below it. And right now we are currently below the EMA ribbon, and the EMA ribbon is not serving as a major level of support but as a major level of resistance for Cardano compared to Bitcoin. And I think for sure that is something very interesting, important to take a look at. And what we're seeing over here, this thin yellow line, is the 200-day moving average, and I personally think that it's very important to see that once we break below the 200-day moving average, it's very likely that we will see the EMA ribbon serving as a major level of resistance, and that it could be quite possible that we will see once again that higher that lower low structure getting created as we saw previously, and also that lower high structure, and not proceeding with the higher low structure that we were seeing before. So that could be quite unfortunate compared to Bitcoin. Still, it is possible that we will find support on top of the 200-day moving average over here. But let's say if this doesn't occur, we will be heading towards this level of support over here compared to Bitcoin. Also, if we enable the MACD on the 4-hourly time frame to take a look what could possibly occur, as you see immediately, the crossover isn't there anytime soon. And what we are also seeing is that there's major momentum towards the downside is getting started, and I personally think this will have a lot of influence on Cardano's overall price action. I think we will see a
deeper, we'll see Cardano eventually breaking even further towards the downside, and that is for sure something I think that is very possible to occur today or tomorrow maybe. And I think we will be heading even further, and we will be testing this level of support over here compared to Bitcoin for sure. And if we take a look a little bit further, you can see I will be placing it over here just for a next live stream. Is that this is a major level of support and resistance. Why I'm drawing this is because we traded in between this level for a while in the past, and also once we broke towards the downside, we were getting supported by it, supported before we broke below it. It was a level of resistance for a period of time over here, and once we broke above it, it serves as a major level of support. And also once we saw this major rejection of this upward sloping resistance, we were also able to find support on top of this orange box. So for sure, I think this is a major level of support for Cardano, and that is personally why I think it will be heading towards this level just during the upcoming hours and days before heading further up or maybe even further down compared to Bitcoin. So Cardano is not holding very strong at this moment on the 4-hourly time frame. If we take a look at the daily time frame, it's getting supported by the moving by the EMA ribbon for sure. We saw that Cardano already retested the EMA ribbon several times and was able to find support on top of it. This is also why I think personally that if we break out all the way towards the orange box, that the EMA ribbon on the daily time frame will still serve as a major level of support and will be able to hold strong above the orange box or inside of the orange box. So for sure the EMA ribbon is right now on the daily time frame looking very good. And if we enable the moving averages on the daily time frame, they will be also looking very good. And this is actually confirming for sure that if we break even further towards the downside, that we will be serving, that the orange box will be serving as support, especially because it's not just the EMA ribbon, but it's also previous data and the moving averages that will be serving as support over here. So it will be quite difficult to break even further below the orange box. If you ask me personally, I think that won't be happening compared to Bitcoin, and that's why I would like to take a look at Cardano compared to the US dollar on the 4-hourly time frame and also on the daily time frame. But before doing so, do not forget that down below you will find several links to be able to trade cryptocurrencies, and if you use, for example, the Femix link, you will earn up to $2,000 deposit bonus by doing so, and you will be supporting the channel as well. So I would be highly appreciating if you did so. So thank you very much for watching the live stream, and if you like the content so far, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and also the like button down below. So let's take a look. This is Cardano compared to the US dollar and what is actually going on. So Cardano compared to the US dollar, it broke below this downward sloping resistance several weeks ago. And right now we have been seeing Cardano test this major level of support and resistance, the orange box. It got rejected by the orange box by this horizontal level of resistance at $1.81 several times already, and we saw that the price action is right now once again inside of the orange box, right underneath, right on top of the orange box at $1.57. So for sure the orange box is looking quite good for Cardano for the moment. And what I would like to take a look at are the moving averages before heading further. And what we're seeing over here is something very good to know, and that is that we are finding support on top of the 50-day moving average. And also if we take a look at the wick of the candles, they're all getting supported or by the 100-day moving average, or if we take a previous look even further back in time, they are getting supported by the 200-day moving average. So for sure these are serving as major levels of support. And I think that is quite interesting to see, because this would mean that there is still enough strength to break out towards the upside and maybe even break out above this $1.81 level, and finding support on top of the orange box instead of inside of it. So for sure looking good over here. Compared to Bitcoin, it is not holding very strong, so it is possible that we will see more momentum towards the downside getting started. But if we take a look, for example, at the MACD, over here we are seeing that there is downward momentum at this point in time, so it is probable that we will see the 50-day moving average getting tested, and maybe even the 100-day moving average as well. So very interesting to take a look at what the price action of Cardano is going to do. On the daily time frame, it is holding quite strong compared to the moving averages, but the MACD, the momentum indicator, is actually telling us that the momentum towards the downside is getting started, and that could be potentially that could be a potential threat for Cardano's price action to go even further down instead of up, and stop creating higher lows, and start creating lower lows instead of higher lows. So that would be quite a pity, and that is why I would like to go to the 4-hourly time frame, enable the EMA ribbon once it is loaded. So enable the EMA ribbon, and as you can see over here, the EMA ribbon is also at this point in time serving as a major level of resistance above us. So I personally think that what we are seeing is for sure a possible breakout towards the upside getting towards the downside getting started. Especially the Bitcoin chart is looking quite bad for Cardano at this moment. I personally think it will be heading all the way towards a retest of this support line at the orange box. And also because the strength compared to Bitcoin is decreasing, we will see also the price action of Cardano starting to break out towards the downside. And what I would like to take a look at is actually a few other things as well. So the EMA ribbon served as resistance, but let's take a look at this possible, let's say something like this. So if we place this all the way like here, this is a just a upward sloping support line, and you could see that right now we have been supported by this upward sloping support line once we tested this support, and it's very good to know that we are seeing 2 touch points already. So for sure, if you would like to have a stronger support and you would like to see this support line increasing, that would mean that if we see the price action of Cardano towards the downside getting started, that it will be finding support on top of the upward sloping support, and that would mean that the trend is still proceeding, and the overall data is telling us that we are still in an uptrend, and eventually we will be see a type of let's say for example a ascending triangle getting created. But for the current period in time, I think it is very important to see if Cardano will be able to hold strong above this upward sloping support and not breaking below it, because if this occurs, I think we will see more momentum towards the downside getting created, and I think it is quite possible and quite likely that we will head all the way towards a $1.09 level. And why I do think this is possible is because, let's say we are right now in a current downtrend, so I will be selecting the previous downtrend to make a measurement too. So, but I won't be selecting this downtrend because I think this downtrend does have a lot of data, but let's select it from this downtrend because we are right now for sure in the overall downtrend, and I think this is just a better measurement for now. And you are seeing that currently we are trading on the 0.382 Fibonacci level at the golden pocket entry, and if we break further below this upward sloping support line, we will be seeing support of the Fibonacci at 0.236 at $1.35, but afterwards we will be heading towards a $1.04 or $1.09 where we are seeing previous support and resistance. So I personally think it is more likely to break out all the way towards the 0 Fibonacci level, also especially because at this point over here, in between the $1.09 and the $1.31, there are not that much data that is actually supporting the Cardano price action. So for sure, it is likely for Cardano that we will see a breakout towards the downside occur. Also, take into consideration that this is only if we are seeing the Bitcoin price action also declining, because if we see a major move compared to Bitcoin, this could change just in a matter of minutes, and we could see Cardano being able to break above this horizontal level of resistance at $1.59 and break above it, find support on top of it, and trade once again in between the orange box before heading even further, retesting this upward sloping support and breaking all the way up towards the upside. So that is possible, but only if Bitcoin is also performing well. If Bitcoin sees a minor drop in its price action, I think it is very likely for Cardano to lose more pace, and that the price action will be towards the downside, towards the $1.09 level. So thank you very much for watching the live stream. If you would like me to take a look at any type of cryptocurrency, do not forget to place it down below in the comment section. I would like to take a look at it for you and give you my personal opinion about what it will be possibly doing in the upcoming days and weeks. And also, do not forget that if you're interested in joining our Discord server, you are able to do so by joining us by using the link down below in the description section as well. So that would be highly appreciated, and you will be able to share your crypto knowledge with others. So this is what Cardano is looking how Cardano is looking right now. For sure, it is looking quite bad if you ask me. My personal opinion is that the price action of Cardano will be towards the downside if we do not see a Bitcoin price action breaking above the 42k anytime soon. And yeah, for sure, very difficult to call this right now. I think it is very helpful if we see Cardano finding support on top of this upward sloping support line, or if Cardano is able to break underneath it, it will be confirming that we will see a downtrend getting started. Also, if we take a look at the RSI, it might be giving us that extra information that we need at this moment in time. And what we're seeing over here is that there's a lower high on the RSI, there's a higher low on the chart, and also a higher low on the RSI. So we do not see any bullish or bearish divergence. And what I think is actually very interesting is that we are in the middle of the purple area, and this is actually telling us that if we break out towards, for example, the downside, that we still have enough space to do so, and also we have enough space to break out towards the upside. So for sure, if we see either a move towards the upside or downside getting started, it will be a major move that we will be expecting on Cardano. And also, let's take a look at what the moving averages are saying, and this is just something I think very critical for sure, because if we see a momentum towards the downside getting started after a crossover, it will be very likely that this level of upward sloping support won't hold strong, and that we will see Cardano heading towards that $1.09 level, as I told you before. And that would be for sure something you do not want to see. Also, the $1.31 level, as you can see, is a level where we were able to find support previously, but I think it is just more likely to break out all the way towards the downside, especially because that is also the beginning of this upward sloping support, and that is just the possible target where I'm actually taking into consideration. So for sure, very interesting what the price action of Cardano is going to be. And I personally think we will be more likely to see a move towards the downside getting started than towards the upside. So yeah, that was my personal opinion on Cardano. And if you would like me to take a look at the cryptocurrency, do not forget to place your comment in the comment section, and I will be taking a look at it for you. So yeah, let's take a look at some other type of coins. Let's take a look, for example, at something I haven't watched in a while now, and that is BNB. BNB is, for example, a coin that I think has major potential. We saw that we were over here breaking out outside of this symmetrical triangle, and once it actually occurred, we saw Bitcoin price action. For example, on the 7th of June, we saw that major crash on Bitcoin, and that is actually why the BNB party was over afterwards. We did not break out above this. And what I think is very good to see, we are still seeing something very interesting playing itself out, and that is this higher low structure we are seeing over here. This is the low, a higher low, and over here a higher low as well. So we are still in an uptrend. I think that is very healthy to see, and for sure that is something you would like to see in the overall trend to occur. You would like to see higher lows getting created compared to the US dollar on the Binance compared to the US dollar chart. So for sure this is looking quite good right now. And also let's take a look at what we're seeing over here as well. So we are right now trading at this point in time in between the, let's take a look, $355 and $384. So for sure that is something you would like to see, because right now what we are seeing is that we are just accumulating in between these levels. Let's say that we are accumulating in between the level of $295 and the level of $431. And before heading even further, I think it is very likely that we will see Binance trading in between these two levels, because that is just something that could occur for sure. Sorry, I am a little bit allergic to due to the season of this year. Right now we are the spring here in Europe, and I'm very allergic to all the flowers and stuff, so sorry for my sneezing and stuff. So if we take a look right over here, we are confirming this upward sloping support. We already have 2 touch points. Actually, we have several touch points over here. We have 2, and we had well, let's say up to 3 touch points over here. So you can confirm this actual upward sloping support. And what I would like to see is for Binance to stay above this upward sloping support during the upcoming weeks before heading even further. So for sure it is looking quite good for the Binance chart. If we take a look at just at how the chart is looking, it is creating higher lows, and that is just not looking very overextended or so. And if we enable the EMA ribbon, that will be giving us that extra information that we need right now. And as you can see, we are right now currently retesting the EMA ribbon that is serving as a major level of resistance. So why do I think we are still looking good at this point in time is because we were rejected multiple times before we were able to break above the EMA ribbon. Right now we broke above the EMA ribbon. It was able to support BNB for a small period of time before it broke below it, but we were right away supported by this upward sloping support line, and right now we are currently trying to break above the EMA ribbon once again. So yeah, that is something I think is good to know, because if you take a look at the EMA ribbon right now, it is just for sure interesting. And we are right now actually rejected once again by the EMA ribbon, and that is also why I would like to enable the MACD. So welcome T Schultz to the live stream. I really appreciate you being here, and if you like the content, do not forget to give me a thumbs up down below. What you're seeing is that we saw a crossover on the MACD, the momentum indicator, and the momentum is actually right now towards the upside. This will for sure be very helpful for the BNB price action compared to the US dollar to actually be able to break above the EMA ribbon and eventually break above this horizontal level of support at the $384 and find support on top of it, and also find support on top of the EMA ribbon, because that will be giving that extra support needed to head even further up towards the upside. Otherwise, I think it is very likely that we will see BNB breaking underneath this upward sloping support, and I won't be pumped about that at all. So personally, very sorry guys, Very sorry, but personally I'm waiting for BNB to retest this upward sloping support, find support on top of it, and head even further up above the EMA ribbon, and finding support on top of the EMA ribbon as well. So let's enable as well just the RSI to take a quick look. We saw that the MACD was actually giving us positive momentum, and over here on the RSI we are in the middle of the purple area, so there is still enough space towards the up or towards the downside for BNB to trade. Once it breaks above the dotted line on the upper or lower area, it is very likely that we will see a, for example, if it breaks above the dotted line on the upper part, a price action towards the downside getting started. And otherwise, if we see a breakout underneath the dotted line on the lower area, we will see a price action afterwards towards the upside getting started. So for sure right now it could go either way if we take a look at the RSI, but I personally think it will be going up, especially because we are seeing the MACD showing us momentum towards the upside. Oh, sorry, I wanted to enable the RSI once again. I'm sorry that I did disable it, but I wanted just to make sure that we are not seeing any type of bearish or bullish divergence. So this is a lower high on lower high on the chart, lower high on the RSI. We are seeing here a lower low and a higher low on the chart, so that is for sure the same. So we are not spotting any type of bullish or bearish divergence, so that is for sure something I think it is quite good to see. But if we take a look a little bit further, you are seeing a bullish divergence over here. We are seeing a lower low on the chart and we're seeing a lower low, a higher low on the chart and a lower low on the RSI. So for sure, very interesting. Right over here, it is this line what I'm talking about, from here towards here. And I will be coloring this one red. So if we take a look over here, you can see immediately that what we are seeing is that on the RSI, you can see there is a lower low getting created, and on the chart we are seeing a higher low getting created, and this is for sure a bullish divergence. So that is something in particular I think it is amazing to see, because this means that we will be able to maybe break above the EMA ribbon that is serving as overhead resistance, and also finding support on top of the upward sloping support if BNB goes all the way towards the retest of this level before heading even further up. Also, let's take a look at the daily time frame and enable the moving averages. And what we are seeing over here on the daily time frame is also we saw multiple touch points of this upward sloping support. And the moving averages are right now also serving as overhead resistance. So we are seeing over here that we are trading right underneath the 100-day moving average, and the 50-day moving average is a small fat above us, and it served as previous resistance as well once we tried to break above the $431 level. So for sure you would like to take this into consideration, and I think personally that this will be also very difficult to break above, especially because the EMA ribbon, as we saw previously on the 4-hourly chart, compared to the US dollar, is also serving as a level of resistance. So that's for sure, but still we have the moving averages, we still have the RSI, the bullish divergence that we spotted just a minute ago, and also the MACD that is telling us that there is major momentum towards the upside. And as you can see over here, the MACD is not yet having a crossover on the daily chart, and this could potentially mean that we will see major momentum towards the upside getting started, especially if we see Bitcoin also breaking out towards the upside above the 42k. I personally think that we will be seeing a major move towards the upside getting created as well on the BNB chart compared to the US dollar. So yeah, that is what I wanted to show you right now. I'm very glad we spotted that bullish divergence on the 4-hourly chart, and I would like to take a look at the BNB compared to Bitcoin chart. This could be telling us something different, but I think we are still seeing quite a major move. So you could see over here BNB was creating previously a ascending triangle. We saw the breakout, the possible breakout. It actually, as you could see previously, you can see that we went all the way up towards the half of this potential breakout towards the upside, and we got supported by this level over here before we broke down below. And right now, what I think is personally very good and very satisfying to take a look at is that we are finding support on the daily candle above the horizontal level of support but previous resistance of this ascending triangle. And that's for sure very important, because we're still creating a higher low structure, and as long as we see a higher low structure getting formed, for sure we will eventually see a major breakout towards the upside getting started. So this is looking quite good right now if we do not see this candle breaking even further towards the downside. And to be sure this won't be occurring, let's take a look at the EMA ribbon. So the EMA ribbon on the daily time frame compared to Bitcoin is actually serving as a major level of support right now. You could see that once we broke below it, we were able to break above it after this breakout of this ascending triangle. And right now we are retesting the EMA ribbon for the very first time after breaking out above it. And I'm personally very keen to see if the EMA ribbon will hold strong as a level of support, what I personally think is very interesting to look at. And also, if we take into account the moving averages, the 50-day moving averages are right now currently also serving as a level of support. And if we break even further down below, we will still have the 100 and 200-day moving averages far below us as levels of support. But right now it is currently looking quite good due to the EMA ribbon as a level of support, but also the moving averages over here as a major level of support. So this could possibly tell us that right now at this level BNB will be able to find support compared to Bitcoin before heading even further, and that will be for sure very good to see and to take a look at. So nice price action, still nice higher low structure on the BNB compared to Bitcoin chart on the daily time frame. We saw already that the MACD did not have a the MACD on the daily time frame compared to the US dollar is not having a crossover yet, but unfortunately we are seeing a crossover of the momentum in the upcoming hours on the daily time frame compared to Bitcoin, and that will for sure mean that we will see major downward momentum getting started, and that could possibly ruin the party if the moving averages and the MACD and the EMA ribbon won't hold strong as support. And for sure, once we see this downward momentum getting started, we won't be able to holds strong above the moving averages for sure. That is my personal opinion, of course, but I think it is very likely that this could occur. And let's take a look what we are seeing as well over here. Sorry for this brush mark, I did not realize it was still on. And yeah, so BNB is not holding very strong if you take into consideration what the MACD is telling us, but it is holding very strong if you take a look at the moving averages and as well at the EMA ribbon. And that's why I would like to take a look at the EMA ribbon as well on the 4-hourly chart. And as you can see, the EMA ribbon, we broke below the EMA ribbon for the very first time. We were able to break above the EMA ribbon. Afterwards, we found several times support on top of it before breaking further down below it. And right now the shorts are taking over the long, so I personally think that we will for sure see downward momentum getting created. So yeah, let's take a look what this potential breakout is going to look like and where we could be stranded compared to Bitcoin. So yeah, give me 1 second and I will be taking a look at this all. So before doing so, I would like to go back to the welcome Crypto Rover, and thank you very much for watching the live stream together with me. I really hope you enjoyed the content so far, and if you do so, do not forget to hit that like button down below for you all. So let's take a look at this over here, and what we're seeing is I wanted to take a look at something specific, and that was actually we were going to measure the potential breakout towards the downside of BNB, and yeah, compared to Bitcoin. So yeah, I personally think that if we will break out towards the downside, we are not spotting any type of triangle, ascending, descending, or symmetrical triangle over here. And if we take a look at this trend line, I think it won't be holding strong for sure. It won't. So we will have to break below this trend line. So I will be removing this as well. So if we take a look at what are major levels of support and resistance, also taking into consideration what previous data is showing us, you could see immediately that over here at this level, we were finding major levels of support and resistance. So for sure, very interesting and very good to know that we could be heading towards the 0.9. But that would mean compared to Bitcoin. And what we would like to know is actually where we will be heading to compared to the US dollar. And yeah, for sure, if we see a price action of BNB heading downwards even further below, breaking below this upward sloping support, I personally think that we will be seeing BNB heading all the way down towards this orange box and just maybe heading towards the same level where it traded before at approximately $233. Otherwise, it will be able maybe to find support on top of the $265 level, and I think it won't be a crash below the $204 level because this is a major level of support and resistance, and I think it will hold strong for sure. It is quite unfortunate if this occurs that we will not see the higher low structure getting formed on the US dollar chart, but also on the Bitcoin chart. It is unfortunate that this would occur, but still it would mean that we will be able to accumulate BNB at the $263 level, and that is for sure something I won't miss out on because eventually we will see a move towards the upside getting created. So hello guys, thank you very much for watching, and if you would like me to take a look at a particular coin, do not forget to ask it down below in the description section. I will be taking a look at it, and if you're interested in our Discord server, do not forget to join the Discord server by going down below to the join our Discord link, and you will be able to communicate with each other and actually be able to be part of the Crypto community and exchange crypto knowledge with each other. So yeah, let's take a look at this a little bit further. Sorry for this, as I said before, a little bit of a hay fever. And because no one is saying or giving any type of requests, I will be taking a look at XRP. So XRP, important, very important coin. I think it is just a major... I think it is just amazing to take a look at XRP. I think XRP has a lot of potential, especially for the upcoming weeks. If we see a major bull run getting started, I personally think that XRP will perform absolutely marvelous during this major move towards the upside. But as you could see over here, we were seeing this ascending triangle getting started, and once XRP decided to break out below this upward sloping support, right now it only had a drop of approximately, let's say, 17% all the way towards its lowest wick, and right now it's currently already up. So it did not break out all the way towards the downside, what I personally would have thought that could happen if it broke outside of this ascending triangle, especially because these triangles tend to break out towards the upside. I thought it would be breaking out towards the upside as well, but of course we saw that the previous momentum before us was momentum towards the downside, so it was also very possible that we would see, due to the downward momentum towards the downside, that this pattern would break out towards the downside instead of towards the upside, and that is actually what occurred as well. So Yeah, currently we're seeing on the 4-hourly time frame compared to the US dollar that's looking like this. It found support on top of the 0.84 cents, and this trading currently at 87 cents. So for sure it's good, looking quite good. But I would like to take a look at actually the XRP compared to Bitcoin chart. And why I would like to do so is because if you take a look at this over here, it is not looking quite good. We are breaking below the 0.236 Fibonacci level, and we might be heading all the way down towards where we found previous support at the 0 level of Fibonacci. And I draw this way because the previous momentum was towards the downside, and I decided to draw the Fibonacci this way to see what levels of support of resistance we would be seeing all the way up. But as you can see, we are not creating any more lower high structure. So unfortunately, we are seeing right now that it is possible that we see downward momentum getting started for the upcoming days. So I will be removing this Fibonacci, and I will be replacing it by a Fibonacci from the beginning of this year, or well, let's say let's say over here, let's say for example the 13th of March. This was quite a low point for XRP. So the 13th of March all the way towards its all-time high. And you can see immediately that right now we are currently trading at the 0.5 level of Fibonacci. Very important for sure, because once asset breaks out toward the 0.5, it is still a healthy setback if you ask me. I personally think that it has still a major potential to break up towards the upside after testing the 0.5 Fibonacci level compared to Bitcoin. And I will be enabling the AMA ribbon on the 4-hourly time frame to take a look what we're currently seeing. And what we are seeing is something quite unfortunate. XRP tried already twice, or let's take a look, 1, 2, 3, 3 times to break above the EMA ribbon after it broke below the EMA ribbon, and the EMA ribbon rejected XRP several times before it right now dropped severely towards the downside. I think this is very important because the EMA ribbon will serve as a major level of overhead resistance during the upcoming days for the strength compared to Bitcoin. And also this is just a very significant major level of resistance above us. What we are also seeing is that we saw a crossover on the MACD occur several let's say hours ago, and due to that crossover we started having downward momentum. This downward momentum is actually immediately seen in the strength compared to Bitcoin, and that is also why I personally think that we will be heading for sure towards the 0.5 Fibonacci level. The indicators are not looking quite strong on the 4-hourly time frame compared to Bitcoin, and that will for sure affect the strength as well. And it might be even possible that we will not be holding strong on the 0.5 level, and we will be heading even further and maybe finding support at this level over here where we were previously finding support on. And otherwise we will be heading towards the 0.618 Fibonacci level, and that is also quite likely because that is very probable due to the previous resistance that it's formed over here. But it's also actually quite likely that we will be stopped at this point in time where we be previously stopped as well, due to this major level of support at approximately 0.00002 Bitcoin. So I will be adding this support line just to show you where we could possibly be heading to compared to Bitcoin, somewhere in between the 0.618 and 0.5 Bitcoin is my personal opinion. Of course, very good to take a look at this. And what I wanted to show you as well is actually the daily time frame compared to Bitcoin before heading towards the compared to US dollar chart. And what we are seeing over here is actually for sure the moving averages are of utmost importance. And what I think is personally quite good right now is that we are seeing the 50 100 day moving average The 50-day moving average is actually serving as a level of resistance currently, but the 100-day moving average and the 200-day moving averages are below us still, and these levels will serve as support for sure. So if XRP breaks even further down below, we will see it finding support on top of the perhaps the 100-day moving average, otherwise on top of the 200-day moving average, and also I personally think on top of this level of support where it previously found support on, as well, as you could see over here. So I think personally this orange line will be the level of support where we are heading towards, especially also due to the moving averages over here. And if we enable the EMA ribbon, you will see that the EMA ribbon right now is also currently serving as resistance because we broke down below it. So it will be quite a difficult rally towards the downside. It is very likely that we will be heading towards the 0.618 level, but I personally think that the orange line will still hold strong just for the current moment and time. Lastly, I wanted to enable the MACD to take a look at what we're seeing over here. And if you take a close look to the MACD, what you're seeing is that we did not see a crossover occur, and we are even seeing more downward momentum getting started. So for sure, it is not looking quite good for XRP at this moment in time compared to Bitcoin, and it could be heading all the way towards the 0.618 or the orange line level. So let's take this into account in our analysis compared to the US dollar, so we have a better and broader view about what could possibly occur. So what we are seeing on the daily time frame is that also over here we have been rejected already by the EMA ribbon. We broke below this upward sloping support of the ascending triangle, and right now the EMA ribbon is getting closer and might be once again rejecting us all the way towards the downside. So yeah, where could this possible move be heading towards, especially if we take this ascending triangle into consideration that has been broken? So if we select the horizontal level of resistance all the way towards the beginning of this upward sloping support, and I will change the color of the line just so 1 second, the possible breakout towards the downside will be heading towards the 0.65 cent level, even 0.60 level, so 60 cent XRP. So very, very important to take a look at this and what is actually telling us that it is very likely that we will see XRP declining in price and heading towards the 60 cent level. For sure, very interesting is that we are still finding support on top of the 200-day moving average, and that is something that could be very interesting and important if XRP would like to stay over here finding support on top of the $84 level, 84 cent dollar cent level. And also for sure the EMA ribbon, the MACD, not the EMA ribbon, the MACD. And once again, we do have some technical difficulties with the chart. The chart is not loading as it should be. I will be reloading it right now, so just give me 1 quick second, and it's now working right away. So XRP compared to US dollar, what I wanted to take a look at is not the EMA ribbon. What I wanted to take a look at is actually the MACD. So the MACD, what is the MACD telling us on the 4-hourly time frame? We saw this crossover occur several hours ago. There won't be a crossover anytime soon, so this is very likely that we will see right now XRP still holding strong above the 0.85 cent level. But if we enable the daily time frame, we are seeing over here as what we are seeing over here is as well very important. So what we are seeing here is, I think, very important because it is interesting that on the Bitcoin chart we saw the momentum indicator actually having a double crossover towards the downside, but on the compared to US dollar chart we saw that once it had a crossover, it almost had a crossover, but it did not have one, and we see right now once again, upward momentum getting started. So if this upward momentum holds strong and we do not see a crossover anytime soon, I think personally that we will be able to stay above the 0.85 cents, but you really have to monitor closely what the MACD will be doing, but because otherwise I personally think that we will for sure be heading towards that $60 level, and that is something you do not want to well, see if you are right now actually holding XRP. You have to monitor this closely, especially because you are able to still place a trade if we break underneath the 0.84 cents. I think personally that there will be a major move towards the downside getting started. Maybe you should have entered this trade once we broke below this downward sloping resistance, this upward sloping resistance. But for sure, at the 84 cent level, once we break below it, that will be for sure a major entry point for a short position, because it's not looking very strong for XRP right now. But for sure, it depends all on Bitcoin as well. So that is something you don't want to forget if you are placing a trade right now. So, and also my advice to you is do not use high leverages. Those right now will be very difficult because the market is still very volatile right now. We do not know if it's heading up or heading down. So for this period of time, I would advise you to use low leverages for sure. If we take a look at the 4-hourly, and lastly, I wanted to enable the RSI. What we're seeing over here is that we are in the middle of the RSI, and if we take a look at this, we are not seeing lower highs and higher lows getting started on either on the chart or on the RSI, and we are not seeing any type of bullish or bearish divergence. So for sure, it is looking good. Except right over here, yes, this is a bullish divergence. I will call this a bullish divergence because I think this is a bullish divergence for sure. You see over here, we have a lower low, and we are also having a, oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was a higher low on the chart, but it's a lower low on the chart as well. So personally, I did not, sorry, it should have been a higher low on the chart, a lower low on the RSI. I'm very sorry for the fault. So let's take a look at just the RSI, how it is right now. The RSI is actually looking quite good. It is in the middle of the purple area. This means that it still has enough space to break out towards the downside. Only once it breaks underneath the dotted line, it is very likely to see a price action towards the upside getting started, or once it breaks above the dotted line on the upper area, it is very likely to get a price action towards the downside getting started. So right now it could be going either way, but as I said previously, I personally think it is not looking very strong for XRP right now, not on the compared to Bitcoin chart and neither on the US dollar chart, and that is why I think we will be heading towards that $0.64 level, where XRP I personally think will be able to find support, and it won't be going down even further all the way towards the $60 level. So that is of course my personal opinion on XRP. I really hope you enjoyed the video so far. And if you did, do not forget to hit that like button for sure. That would be very highly appreciated, and you will be supporting the channel by doing so. So right now I would like to know if you are interested in me taking a look at your requests. Do you have any requests for any type of cryptocurrency, or would you like me to take a look at a news article? You can request anything you want. So there are no requests so far, and that is why I would like to take a look at a news article that I already planned for this live stream. So if we take a look at this news article, I already read this news article about El Salvador. It was huge news, and I think it is a very interesting article. If you would like to read it, don't forget to read it on crypto news. It's very interesting, and I think it is just great for the overall crypto knowledge for sure. So let's take a look at this news, because I think this is also quite good news. So Doge versus crypto. So T. Schultz, what do you think about the Venezuela adoption? So for sure, I think the Venezuela adoption is great. Also, as I'm reading over here, I haven't read this before in the live stream, but this is also India could soon classify Bitcoin as regulated asset. That is also for sure great news. I think overall, I do have just a few. For sure, we have to wait until we see further development and how the countries will actually regulate this cryptocurrencies and how they are actually planning to use it as a legal tender. Oh, you mean El Salvador? Yeah, for sure. Okay, I already thought Venezuela. I haven't heard anything about it, but I thought Paraguay was also planning to, legalize cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin as legal tender as well. So Paraguay is something you would like to take into consideration for the future of Bitcoin and how Bitcoin will develop itself. So for the overall market for cryptocurrencies, I personally think it is a huge step forward, because if you take into account that right now we are just like the crypto enthusiasts that are right now inside of the cryptocurrency space is just approximately around roughly 5% of the global population. And if countries like El Salvador, even if there are third world countries with not that much of a big GDP or influence in the overall regulated market right now, I think they will have a lot of influence in the future if they are right now the first ones to actually invoke crypto into their economy, and eventually they will benefit from eventually, because they are being naive that the future is actually waiting for cryptocurrencies and for a new type of asset to actually become the new standard. And I am, maybe you do not agree with me, I personally think that crypto will become a mainstream for sure in the upcoming 10 years, and countries that are lacking and staying behind and not actually paying, not legalizing or even taking actions to, for example, tax Bitcoin and other types of currencies, or make it more able to for all the people to actually be invested in crypto. I think it is just negative for the overall country, because they also will benefit eventually from people who are holding cryptocurrency assets, especially because if eventually, let's say 95% of the global population will be using crypto, that is a 90% increase in total accounts using cryptocurrency and blockchain technology type of tokens. That will be for sure increase the market cap and the value of all tokens, and you want to be the very first country to actually invest in it and let your people invest themselves, inform themselves about cryptocurrency and invest in cryptocurrencies, because after a certain period of time it will be very profitable for the country as well. So very interesting. Let's take a look at this. I hope I answered your question. If you would like me to say what you personally think, I would love to read it on the comment section as well. So Doge versus Bitcoin. Elon Musk declares crypto space race with BitMEX has begun. Can BitMEX and Bitcoin beat Elon Musk and Dogecoin to launch the first crypto asset into lunar orbit? So I think this is just fun news, and let's take a look what they will possibly do. Which cryptocurrency will be the first cryptocurrency outside of our beloved world? So let's take a look. 21st century space race appears to be brewing between Elon Musk and BitMEX, with both parties pledging to launch their respective crypto of choice to the literal moon first. On June 4th, the popular crypto derivative exchange BitMEX announced it would be supporting space robotics firm Astrobotic Technology in the company's mission to send its first commercial lander to the moon during Q4 for 2020, noting that the mission aims to be the first instance in which a private company leading a coalition of government, academia, industry, and international partners reaches the lunar surface. BitMEX plans to make the occasion by delivering a one-of-a-kind physical Bitcoin to the moon's surface. Referring to Musk as a Dogecoin protagonist, BitMEX added, "We have nothing against dog money. We felt it was only right to help Bitcoin get there first." And for sure, I think this is one prestige type of article. It's talking about it actually doesn't matter. It is just news. It's just lots of great news for the media to invoke people and cryptocurrency. But I think it's fun to read this. I don't think it will have a lot of impact on the price action of BitMEX or Dogecoin, who is the first one actually going to the moon. But I think it's for the overall crypto space, it's very good to see this happen and occur, because this will bring crypto once again into the mainstream media, and lots of people will like to say, whoa, it's going very fast right now and I would like to invest in it. And I think that is very, very great for sure. So the announcement followed Elon Musk early May news that SpaceX is planning to launch a Dogecoin funded payload on one of its first rockets to the moon, asserting that Doge would become the first cryptocurrency to reach lunar orbit next year. Elon Musk responded to BitMEX's newfound astronomical ambitions on Twitter, proclaiming a new space race has begun. While replies to Elon tweet are largely his followers barracking for Doge to win the crypto space race, others noted that there are more pressing problems on Earth than whether one's crypto token of choice is first to enter the orbit of another celestial body. And I'm for sure agreeing with this 100%. I think there are enough problems on Earth, and this is just a huge marketing stunt for both parties to buy more media attention and to give Dogecoin and Bitcoin more attention overall in the world. But I think it is great news, because I want media attention for Bitcoin. I want media attention for Dogecoin, because we all know what we are holding, and we are holding just precious gold gems that will eventually become very big. And that's my personal opinion, of course. And Teshult, let's take a look what you said on the comment section. You would like to see more stable countries join El Salvador, but Bitcoin started on the dark web, so I don't have any worries. Piss, I won't be buying a Tesla soon. Well, I won't be buying a Tesla at all. I think I will be buying other type of cars, but I'm not a huge fan of Elon Musk, to be honest with you. I think he is just he's doing a great job by introducing the entire world to the cryptocurrency space, but I think personally I'm not a huge fan of what he has done right now in the cryptocurrency space. So I have to wait a little bit longer until I can actually give my full on opinion about what he's doing with the crypto. It could be great in the longer run. And also, yeah, I think stable countries will be joining eventually, but I think we have to see those small countries starting to get to know let's say the cryptocurrency space, and let's take them, they will be the ones exploring and experimenting before bigger countries will see what kind of benefits cryptocurrencies will eventually give to their countries. That is my personal opinion. So let's take a look at this last part. While few projects exploring the utility of establishing crypto infrastructure from space have captured the mainstream imagination, like Musk Dogecoin expedition, as the Tesla CEO plans to take the cryptocurrency out of this world, are not the first. Blockstream appears to have been the first in pioneering the use of crypto satellites, launching satellites to broadcast Bitcoin transactions from space in August 2017. So this actually happening for quite a while right now, and it's just amazing news that in 2017 this is already occurring, and it's great news for the overall development of the blockchain technology, I think. In August 2020, Robonomics and Kusama announced an ambitious plan to develop an interplanetary architecture capable of relaying data between Mars and Earth using the Kusama network. CryptoSat outlined the concept behind its ambitious plans to launch a nanosatellite the size of a coffee mug into space in a November 2017 white paper, with the satellite slated to operate as an isolated cryptographic module from orbit. The team plans to prove the concept with a launch this year before sending an entire constellation of CryptoSats into orbits later on. So, for sure, I never heard about CryptoSat and their plans to launch an isolated graphic module from the orbit. I think this is amazing news as well. This will make crypto even more. I think it's like no one can deny that cryptocurrencies won't be mainstream eventually. So this type of things are for sure showing that cryptocurrency are far above what our regular markets could possibly do ever. So I'm a huge fan of cryptocurrency, as you know, but Space Chain, similarly launched in 2017, has successfully developed nodes in orbit. On June 3, 2021, the project announced its multi-sign Ethereum payload designed for installation on the International Space Station had been launched on board of SpaceX rocket. Yes, I did know this news. So yeah, for sure, I wanted to read this out loud for you. If you would like to read it yourself, it's on Cointelegraph. I think it's amazing news, and yeah, just take a look at it. It's very good to just read a lot of crypto knowledge. I think it's just fun to know as well, and I think it's also great to make your investment plans eventually. So let's take a look. Melvin Comans, welcome, and Tishul, thanks for sharing your wide knowledge of crypto. I have to run and see you soon. Thank you, Tishul. I really appreciate you being here, and have a nice day. So let's take a look. Does anyone have any type of request for me right now? I would like to take a look at what possibly could be going on right now. If you have a request, I would love to see your request coming up right away. So otherwise, I will be taking a look at just one last coin of my choice for sure. And afterwards, I will be ending this live stream. So for this moment in time, I don't know if you have any requests. So yeah, I don't think so. Perfect. So let's take a look at something. I think it's quite a nice coin. Last time I took a look at it, this was quite a while ago, I can see. And it's actually OMG Network. OMG Network, I think it's a coin with huge potential. We saw this major breakout outside of this symmetrical triangle playing itself out. Afterwards, we saw OMG Network work even further below, heading all the way towards this level of support over here. It got supported. As you could see, it was a level of support previously as well, so it is not news or nothing out of the ordinary that it got supported at this part over here. But I'm quite glad that we saw this V-shaped recovery, and we saw afterwards that we traded above the orange box, and unfortunately we broke down below it just several days, let's say several days ago. Yes, and right now we are once again retesting this level of support, and it's actually we are underneath it, so we are testing this level as a level of resistance. So for sure it isn't looking quite good for OMG Network, and that is also why I would like to enable the moving averages on the 4-hourly time frame. So on the 4-hourly time frame, we are seeing over here something that I was expecting already, and that is that the EMA ribbon actually changed towards the shorts, we broke down below it, and we have been rejected multiple times once we try to break above it. And as you can see, after the third rejection, we saw this major move towards the downside getting started. That is what we're currently seeing over here. And I personally think that the EMA ribbon right now will be serving as major resistance for sure compared to Bitcoin. So compared to Bitcoin, it isn't holding very strong right now. And if we take a look on the daily time frame as well, enabling the moving averages and the MACD in one time, what you're seeing over here is that the MACD did not see a crossover occur. We saw the MACD over here almost having a crossover, almost creating upward momentum towards the upside, but unfortunately it did not have a crossover, and that is very well noticed on the chart as well, because the chart immediately broke out towards the downside afterwards, and this major momentum towards the downside is actually also forming this major decline in the chart right now. And you can see that it is looking quite critical, if you ask me, because we are also right now breaking below all three moving averages on the daily chart compared to Bitcoin. Moving averages serve as major levels of support, and I think it's very important to see this actually holding strong, and it didn't. So for sure, I personally think it is not looking very great right now. So lastly, to take a look at what we are seeing is actually we are going to place a trend line like this. We saw that this trend line also actually supported the OMG network compared to Bitcoin chart already supported 3 times, 2 times at the beginning, and once we saw this major drop towards the downside getting created after the symmetrical triangle breakout. And yeah, I personally think that if we find support on top of the upward sloping support line, it is looking it would be looking still very good, but I'm personally quite worried about the moving averages that we broke down below, and also the EMA ribbon that is serving as a major level of resistance on the 4-hourly time frame. That is why I will be enabling the EMA ribbon as well here. And as you can see, we broke below the EMA ribbon, and this EMA ribbon will be serving as resistance as well as the moving averages are too. And we saw the downward momentum getting started compared to Bitcoin on the MACD. So for sure, it is not looking good for OMG network. And once again, welcome back to the chart, Crypto Rover, and I'm very pumped to see you here, and I really appreciate you being and watching this video right now. And Melvin Koopmans, you are right now saying, do you know some long-term coins? So yeah, I would like to take a look at it just in 1 minute, if you let me finish with the OMG network chart. What we're seeing over here is that once we broke below the once we broke below the EMA ribbon, we were multiple times rejected once we tried to break above the EMA ribbon, as you could see over here and over here. Already 3 times the candles were rejected by the EMA ribbon, and also they were rejected by this upward sloping previous support. Right now it's serving as resistance. That's the blue line, the diagonal line towards the upside. And I think something also very interesting that you would like to take into consideration right now is that we did not only break below the EMA ribbon, we broke below this upward sloping previous support. It's serving as resistance right now. And what I wanted to show you is actually that this level, once we broke below the EMA ribbon, also we broke below the orange box. That is a major level of support. So for sure, this will be serving as major level of resistance once we see the price action of OMG network changing towards the upside. But as well, OMG network will have a lot of struggle if it has to break above this upward sloping resistance. So sorry, I have quite a few allergies due to the weather here right now. And let's take a look what we're seeing over here as well. Let's enable the moving averages on the daily time frame, and also over here we are underneath the moving averages. So it's not looking good right now. I think OMG Network will be breaking out towards the downside. And just to answer the last question, where will this be heading towards? Yeah, for sure, I personally think that if we see a move towards the downside getting started, it is very likely that we will see OMG Network head further back. We are also seeing over here that the momentum switch towards the downside got started on the MACD as well on the daily time frame compared to the US dollar. So it's looking very bearish right now, and a possible move towards the downside I think is very, very likely. We are not spotting any type of triangles. We could say you might say it is a symmetrical triangle, but I don't think it is. If we take a look at the 4-hourly or 3-hourly chart, we will be maybe a little bit more likely to find out what type of pattern we are seeing. And yeah, let's say it is a symmetrical triangle to just give you a possible price target of this move. So the breakout will occur, confirming this. If this is the triangle we are seeing right now, the breakout will occur within several hours from now, and afterwards we will see a potential move towards the downside for sure getting started. I personally think that it is not very likely that we will see a move towards the upside getting created. It all depends also on Bitcoin, because this type of coins with a lower market cap are quite volatile. So if Bitcoin goes up, it could change the entire pattern and the entire structure that we're seeing right now. But currently it's looking quite bad for OMG Network, and if we see this breakout towards the downside getting started, I personally think that we will be seeing OMG Network heading towards the $2.44 level, especially because right over there we are seeing that level of support. So that is what I wanted to show you on the OMG Network. And right now I would like to answer the question of Melvin Koopmans, who was asking me, do you know some long-term coins? So long-term coins, and I do not know if would you like to answer this question for me? Would you like me to give you a small cap, a long-term gem to hold, or are you actually wanting me to explain you what type of coins I in particular are investing in for the long term? So could they also be a top 10 coin, for example? Because I am investing in quite a few coins that I'm holding, but I do also have a few gems that I'm holding that I think have a lot of potential for the future. In the meanwhile, let's take a look at Bitcoin. I like to take a look at Bitcoin for sure, especially right now. It's trading all the towards everywhere. So top 10, bro. Yeah, top 10, bro. Okay, perfect. So then I have a lot of coins to actually. So top 10, yeah. Personally, one of my favorite coins to hold. One of my personal, my personal favorites, one coin where I have invested a lot of time and effort to make my own research about, is actually, I do like Polkadot a lot. I think it has a lot of potential. I think, especially due to the Polkadot network, where they start lots of new projects, they are just for sure amazing to hold. I think Polkadot will become a major cryptocurrency, but for sure a cryptocurrency that I think is very undervalued lately and I think has a lot of potential for the future is Chainlink. I think Chainlink will for sure be a cryptocurrency that you will be able to just not triple. I think eventually Chainlink, we will see Chainlink just becoming a cryptocurrency worth up to $500. That's my personal opinion, of course, and I really think this is a target that in the upcoming 6 years will be there, and that is also why I like to accumulate a lot of Chainlink and hold Chainlink for sure. And my top 3, if I would like to say, let's say from the top 20, I would have to pick a top 3. So from VeChain all the way to Bitcoin, which all the way to Ethereum. We won't count Bitcoin in this question. I think my top 3 would be, for sure, on number 1, I would say, it is very difficult to answer, but yeah, on number 1, I would say Cardano. I have a lot of I think Cardano has a lot of potential. I think Cardano will become very mainstream, and for sure, Cardano would be my number 1 investment to hold. After Cardano, I would say Chainlink. Chainlink is my second number 1 investment in the top 20 that I would like to invest in. And thirdly, I would say Polygon Matic. But right now, it is a little bit overextended. I think there will be a drop on Matic. I'm waiting for it to accumulate more Matic, and we already saw major moves towards the upside getting started on Matic. So if you think risk versus reward, I would invest in Chainlink right now instead of Polygon. So that is my personal opinion. And yeah, for sure, I would love to know what your personal opinion is as well. So for the persons who are viewing right now, if you place down below in the comment section what your top 3 coins are from the top 20, what you would like to hold for the next upcoming 10 years. So let's take a look from VeChain all the way to Ethereum. Which coins would you choose? So I would like to know that right away. Place it down below in the comment section, and that would be very amazing to take a look at. Also, if you would like me to take a look at a particular type of coin, do not forget and do not hesitate to place it as well in the comment section. So that would be really great as well. And I will take a sip of my drink, so don't hesitate to place them. And also, you were talking about a gem, and I think this coin has a lot of potential. And Ada, Ethereum, and Chainlink, and Ben Cos, you are amazing. I think that is also a great pick. And also Melvin Koopmans, that you are adding XRP, I think that's amazing as well. So I think you are very right. Ethereum, Cardano, they are great coins. I'm holding all of those, but I had to pick 3, and that is why I chose to pick Cardano, Chainlink, and Polygon. And what I wanted to tell you is that if you're interested in a type of cryptocurrency that I've been investing quite a lot of time in lately, is actually a cryptocurrency that I made a video about. And if we take a look at my videos down below, you will see that I made a video about HODL token over here. I think HODL token, I think just personally it's just a great form to increase your personal assets, to increase your portfolio, to get rewarded in BNB. And yeah, for sure, I think it is just an amazing token that has a lot of potential. And yeah, you should watch the video if you're interested. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button as well. That would be amazing. So don't forget to hit that like button, guys. And let's take a look at a last coin right now. So let's take a look at one last coin right now before I will be ending this live stream. And that would be, let's take a look at ETH actually. Let's take a look at ETH. So perfect, let's take a look at ETH, and what we are seeing here is actually, yeah, well, I have a few levels of support and resistance. They are not well drawn. I will be drawing them right now. Just give me a quick second. Oh, Bankos, can you look into CTSI? So you might have noticed I haven't heard about it. CTSI, Cartesi, it's a rank 125 coin. It has a market cap of 252 million. And let's take a look. I always like to take a look at their chart. So you can see it had a major drop after we saw a all-time high getting created over here on the 8th of May. at approximately $1.72. Right now we are at 62 cents, so 64, sorry, $64. And I would like to read this because I would like to give you my advice as well on this part. The live Corseli price today, oh no, what is Corseli? What is CTSI? So Corseli is taking smart contracts to the next level. It is solving the urgent problem of scalability and high fees on blockchain by implementing a variant of optimistic rollups. Most notably, Corseli is revolutionizing smart contract programming by by allowing developers to code with mainstream software stacks. Another is Corseli's sidechain that's optimized for ephemeral data, providing low-cost data availability to dApps. Okay. To developers. Okay. Overview can use. Stakers receive CTSI rewards by staking their tokens and participating in the network. Okay. Node runners are selected randomly according to POS system and gain the right to create a new block. Users of the network pay CTSI fees to insert data on the sidechain. Okay. So CTSI will also play a role with Descartes rollups. CTSI will be used by dApps to outsource the execution of verifiable and enforceable computation to entitles running Descartes nodes. What a name, guys. Descartes. It's just very hard to pronounce. Full details can be read on the Cartesian Network and CTSI article. What gives Cartesi a competitive edge as layer 2 and optimistic rollup solution it allows developers to code their smart contracts and dApps directly with mainstream software components and Linux as software OS that represents more than an incremental improvement to decentralization applications. It is necessary to step towards the maturity of a whole blockchain ecosystem. Allowing the mainstream programmability means that dApp developers have an entirely new expressive power to create from simple to rather complex smart contracts. It also means opening the doors for extensive adoption of regular developers who have never programmed for blockchain, as they will create decentralized applications with a coding experience for similar desktop or web. So right away, what I'm seeing over here is a major project, and I think I have to take a look at their fundamentals a little bit more closely on the Cartesi website. I won't be doing that right now because I know that is quite boring to just hear me read, but I am assuring you that I will be making a video about Cartesi for sure. Maybe not today, but for sure this week I still will be making a video about Cartesi. And yeah, right now I think that it is very likely that this will be a major cryptocurrency. I think it has a lot of potential. Just what I read down below, I think it is amazing that they are actually enabling the opportunity for developers outside of people that are well known with cryptocurrency and blockchain technology to develop and start actually so to develop there, actually to make development easier for people who are not aware that how to develop their own cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology by using already known development softwares like we saw underneath. I just forgot the name. Oh yeah, Linux OS. So for example, Linux OS. So I will take a look at this coin for sure. What I want to take a look at as well is Cartesi. So it's CTSI on CoinGecko. CTSI. So rank 183 over here. It is a little bit lower. If we take a look at 1 year, it has almost 1,886% towards the upside. Latest 30 days it has been down 44%. Latest 14 days 26%, let's say, and last 24 hours it has been up 6%. So if we take a look at the last 90 days, for example, we have seen this major decline in price. And this project is already here. It started in 2020. And I think this is just absolutely amazing. And if we take a look at, for example, compared to Bitcoin, it has been outperforming Bitcoin for sure during the past, let's say, during its all-time highs for sure. But right now, it has been trading underneath Bitcoin. And let's take a look at how it's been performing compared to Ethereum. And you can see that Ethereum has been outperforming the Cartesi for sure. Only when it spikes it stays above Ethereum, and afterwards it drops down below it. So I think it's looking quite good for sure. And of course, if you believe in this project and if you read their website and for sure their white paper, and you have seen the potential they have, and you have read what they're actually going to do and how they want to actually make this, as they say, a very scalable solution to the problems with the fees and transactions on, for example, Ethereum network, on any type of cryptocurrency network right now with high fees. If you read their white paper and you are right now still doubting, should I invest in it, you have to take a look at it. And I think personally right now, with a 44% drop, it is a perfect opportunity to be able to buy this at very cheap prices before we see a major explosion towards the upside getting started, as we saw previously as well. And I would like to take a look if it is on TradingView. No, it is CTSI, right? Yes, yeah, it was CTSI. So I'm very glad that this is on TradingView as well. So let's take a look at CTSI compared to the US dollar. So compared to the US dollar, we already saw from the beginning of let's take a look. Let's enable the 4-hourly chart. Let's see what the possible drop, what the drop has been during the past weeks, well, months already. So from its all-time high towards its low afterwards, we saw a, let's say, 71% decrease in price. And also, if we take it to where we're currently at, it is almost a 70% decrease in price. So for sure, this coin is not well known. It only has a 250 million market cap, and I personally think it has a lot of potential. I haven't read enough about it to give me my full personal opinion about what the fundamentals are about this token, but I think for sure it has a lot of potential, what I saw just by reading the text underneath on CoinMarketCap. So yeah, let's take a look at the 1-hourly chart. On the 1-hourly chart, what we're seeing over here is nothing big in particular. We are not spotting any type of triangles or wedges. Yeah, well, you could call, yeah, well, we could call this a, let's say, a small, a wedge pattern or a triangle. I'm just not very pumped about this triangle. I do not think this is a great type of formation. You only have 2 touch points on the upward sloping support line, and you have a few touch points on the downward sloping resistance line. I think this is more likely to break out towards the downside, but let's not run too fast. Let's not conclude anything. So this triangle is looking like this. I would say it's a symmetrical triangle. It is not a descending triangle. It could, yeah, it's a symmetrical triangle right now. So let's enable the EMA ribbon. If we enable the EMA ribbon, we will be seeing right now that we are currently trading underneath the EMA ribbon. We have already been rejected twice. Once we try to break above the EMA ribbon over here as well, and right now for the 3rd time we are trying to do so. What I think is very important, more important than the EMA ribbon right now, is actually this downward sloping resistance. We already tried to break above this downward sloping resistance many times. As you could see over here, the wicks of the candles well, the candle wicks went all the way up but got rejected by this downward sloping resistance. Over here, the candles got rejected. Once we broke above it, they got rejected right away, and multiple times afterwards it got rejected as well. So this is a major level of downward sloping resistance, and I personally think also due to the EMA ribbon that we are seeing as a level of resistance, it will be quite difficult to break towards the upside. So that's for sure what I see right now over here. But let's also take the MACD into consideration. So what is the MACD telling us? The MACD is telling us that we are right now having a momentum switch towards the upside getting created, and this could be actually quite positive for CTSI, especially because this would mean that we would see a major move towards the upside, possibly incoming in the next few hours. And that could mean also that CTSI will be able to break above for the very first time, well, not for the very first time, but break above this downward sloping resistance and find support on top of it. And that would be something, that is the confirmation that you need right now to actually ensure that the price action is going to be towards the upside for CTSI at this certain moment of time. So the MACD is looking good. The moving averages are not looking quite strong. I meant the EMA ribbon, but you have to take into consideration that this downward sloping resistance line is a major level of resistance, and that will be for sure very difficult to surpass. As well, if we take a look at, for example, the daily time frame and we enable the moving averages over there, you are seeing that we are getting supported by the 100-day moving average. And that is for sure very interesting, because this could mean that it will still have enough strength to break out above this downward sloping resistance. And also on the daily time frame, I am very curious to know what the MACD is telling us, and the MACD might see a crossover anytime soon, but it is also possible that we will see even more momentum towards the downside getting created. And I think it is very difficult to actually call this possible trade, especially right now, because we are seeing as well that the MACD, that the EMA ribbon is also above, serving as overhead resistance, as does the 50-day moving average. I think this pattern is more likely to break out towards the downside, especially also due to the downward sloping resistance line that is serving as a major resistance quite long already. It has been serving as downward sloping resistance since the 20th of May, so it's already almost, let's say, 3 weeks already. So 3 weeks it has been downward sloping resistance, and we had multiple touch points, so it's only getting a stronger, it's only becoming a stronger level of resistance. Lastly, I wanted to enable on the daily time frame the Fibonacci retracement from the beginning of February over here all the way towards its all-time high, just to make sure where we could be finding levels of support and resistance once we break out towards the downside or upside. So let's say this triangle breaks out towards the upside first, selecting the point of the downward sloping resistance all the way towards the beginning, or well, over here at the beginning of the upward sloping support line. If we take this measurement and we place it over here, this would mean that we will be heading all the way towards the 0.382 Fibonacci level at approximately $1.11. I think that it's very probable that we will get rejected at this level, especially if we saw previous data. It shows that we were rejected once we tried to break out above the Fibonacci level over there. But as I told you before, I think it is more likely to break out towards the downside right now instead of towards the upside. And that is personally why we're placing it like this. And then we would be heading all the way towards the 7-cent level. That's my personal opinion, because there is no data over here, or no Fibonacci level of support and resistance. Well, there is a level of there is a level of support and resistance here, but that's for sure. It could be possible that we will be getting supported here at the $15 cent level. So this could be possible as well. So if we break down towards the downside, I think we will be breaking below the 0.43 cents, and we will be heading towards the $15 level. Lastly, I wanted to take a look at the RSI on the 4-hourly chart to be sure we are not spotting any type of bullish or bearish divergence. And afterwards, I will be ending this live stream. So what we're seeing on the RSI is actually, let's take a look, a closer look. What we're seeing on the RSI is actually this pattern, and we're seeing a lower high on the RSI, a lower high on the chart, and over here you saw a higher high on the RSI and a lower high on the chart. So for sure we are spotting a bearish divergence. So right now I am for sure concluding that right now is not the good time to buy CTSI. You would like to wait until you see the breakouts underneath this upward sloping resistance line, or a breakout towards the upside. And if it's a breakout towards the upside, I would wait until you see a confirmation by finding support on top of this downward sloping resistance before buying, because it could still drop below and break through this upward sloping support and eventually go all the way back. And what we are seeing over here is as well this higher low on the RSI and that higher high on the RSI, but also this lower high on the regular chart. So for sure what we are seeing here is a bearish divergence, and I think you have to take those very seriously, because once you spot a bearish divergence, it's very likely, especially because we were seeing that the previous data was a momentum towards the downside, and I think that momentum towards the downside isn't over yet. We are still created lower highs each time on the CTSI chart, and I think that will proceed during the upcoming days. So that was my personal opinion. I hope you enjoyed this so far. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, Crypto Rover, for watching as well. I really enjoyed your support during this live stream. And also Melvin Koopman and Ben Koss, I'm really glad you are here as well. So for all people watching right now, do not forget that down below you will be able to join the Discord server, and once you do so, you will be welcomed by me6, and you will be also able to find the verification so you can follow the steps to join the server. So it will be very nice if you did so, and I would be really happy to see you on the Discord server as well. And lastly, if you enjoyed the content, do not forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date about all types of cryptocurrency news, and hit that smash up that like button for sure. So thank you very much for watching and have a nice day. So bye bye.